lot other than it seems to be related to Moradin in some capacity. There was a lot of potions chat, some positive, some that needed to be worked out. Hopefully, got worked out offline. Um, we uh, we left, traveled for a bit. We had Zelia with the rock that detected some of the infernal energies around. Let's see. Sorry, wow, I took really bad notes. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Oh yeah, we ran into some of those dog animals. Tried to talk them down. Ended up having to get into a battle with them after we killed them a bit. We went through a few more four doors where we found who I called Skeletor, but I can't remember what his name was now. I really should take better notes when I'm responsible for a tournament.
Telekaru.
Telekaru, thank you. So I managed to not kill him. Um, we got a hold of him as a monster, placed a crown on him, and then ran back to uh, that room where we found Skeletor with the gnome. Dumax ended up telling us that Skeletor was not Telekaru, actually, at which point there was a little bit more talking before the gnome and Telekaru both disappeared, and we were left going, WTF. So we ended up heading back out, back to where we found Skeletor, found the goat head statue, and you guys all thought it was a good idea for me to not smash it because it might release Bellarok, which I understand Donnie is still pissed about.
Balrog? This is Lord of the Rings.
Balrog, yeah. Yeah, so I really should be taking better. When I'm doing notes, I really should actually write down the real names rather than just what I think Donnie thinks they are.
Yeah.
Baylor.
Yeah. I know what you meant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we left off with you all in that old barracks room.
I believe so.
So it is the 41st of fall, 12:30 in the afternoon. What do you all want to do?
Currently, we are on the world map still.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I think there was some debate as to if we should keep exploring or maybe duck out. I was leaning towards keep exploring, but I'd defer to the group.
I think. Yeah, I
Something-
think
I
we
think
had.
we agreed we would keep exploring. Zelia wants to leave. I don't necessarily.
Something strange is amiss in this place.
Yep.
I only see my token at the moment.
It's because you're out in the hallway.
Oh, okay, that's right. Yeah, sorry, everybody else was in the room still, and
Yep.
Ivor was getting more infernal magic.
Ivor's doing what?
What?
Again, Donnie doesn't know. He's out in the hallway. He knows that you're doing some shady stuff, but he doesn't know.
That's right. I did forget that on the first one, the professor did say something. So he's doing something.
Doing
Yeah.
something.
Doing
Something.
something.
But everybody does something. So
Everybody does something.
It's only a little weird.
I think so. We had just said that we needed to get moving, right? Had we searched this room yet?
I don't know if we investigated it thoroughly. I just know that when I walked into this corner, there was an ember, and I think you actually saw it right about the same time I did, just because I came in here sooner.
Yeah, and then you ate it up.
What?
Yeah, I don't think we have explored this room.
Do we see anything?
I'll take a quick search of the room. See what I can see.
Yeah, I'll too.
Let me see if Betha left a note on when she cast that spell.
I think it was.
If it's 8, it was at 8 a.m.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it lasts 8 hours, so that should still be affecting the group.
Sweet.
Because it's only 12. It's about halfway through.
good double check.
I should have. Oh, that might be a good idea. Maybe I should have like a piece of paper you guys can edit where you can put like hourly spells that's currently affecting people in the group.
Yeah, that might be good.
Let me do that.
Well, Belladonni's looking around the room. I'm going to rummage around in the bag of holding for a minute. And does everyone have healing potions. This might be a good time to just check on that, just in case.
I do have one, yes.
Everybody good on healing potions, seeing as how, like...
Yeah, I got graders and some regulars, so I'm pretty okay.
Yeah, I'm good as well.
Actually, I have a supreme and a grader. I have a ton of healing potions. I have a supreme, 2 graders, and 2 regular. Wow, I'm
Go crazy with them, because, you know...
Go crazy.
Although,
if I ever end up really hurt, then I should be okay. Plus, I'm likely to be able to run quickly over to one of you and jam one in your mouth if you need to.
Alright, so there should be a new note at the top of the journal where you can record hourly spell and spell effects that are on the group.
Nice.
I don't know where I'm going to put it yet, but it's there for now.
We've had seeming on us for about the same length of time, so...
Yeah, that's got to be getting close to wearing out, too.
Where is that under? I don't see anything under journal.
At the very top.
At the very top of the journal.
Very, very top.
Oh, I see.
So
Above.
just record, like, who has the spell effect, when it was cast, and, like, basically when it should end. So we know. That could be good.
Here for,
or go ahead, sorry.
Standing here for a second, I'll pull the spell scroll patch off of my cloak, and because that's something that we didn't generate before. I have a patch on Cloak of Useful Items. I can get a random scroll between level 1 and 3.
Alright. And I was going to say the hourly spell thing could be good for things like light as well. Like if you cast light on a rock. Or daylight, because it lasts an hour.
I mean, daylight probably. Light's cantrip that can be cast at will.
Yeah, yeah, I more meant like daylight, not light. So, random scroll, generation... Let's see, you said 1 and 3?
Yes.
Alright. Give me a D10 roll. That is level 0, so give me another D10 roll. Darn it. I wish you could do this by level. Oh, what level's that? That might be too high.
It's okay, too high is fine.
Nope, that's too low. That is way too high.
That's even finer.
Yeah, no worries. We're good.
Quiet.
Was it Scroll of Disintegrate?
No, it
It's
was
wish.
actually like level 8 spell.
It's a wish spell.
Is there... Did this generate like all... These are like all 0 or like 6th level spells?
The fates have spoken.
Yeah.
Maybe this one.
Dice.
Is this level 3? No, that's 5th level. Alright, you know what? I'm just going to roll my dice until I get one that's the appropriate level, because this is being weird. Alright. So it produces the 2nd level spell, or actually, is that 2nd level? Heat Metal, I think, is 2nd level.
Cook and book.
Cook and book.
Appropriate for you, Theo?
Yeah. It's one-time use, unless, Alia, do you want to copy it in your spellbook, or can you?
It's Artificer, Bard, or Druid.
I don't have a spellbook I can copy it into, so...
I mean, I could copy it into my spellbook. How
Yeah.
does that work? I wouldn't be able to use it. But
No,
if
there's no
copy
real...
into my spellbook, could I then make copies of it during downtime?
So you could... I think I'd have to look up scribing scrolls. I think you have to be able to cast scrolls or spells you can scribe.
I think that is correct.
Whenever comes. You know, I'm not gonna go through crafting rules.
Yeah, so I think I don't think Zalia herself could scribe that one.
Okay. Well, pocket it could come in use.
Right. And Theo, it looks like we need your character picture. It says your account like splatter right now. Ah, there you go. All right. So yeah, you get a heat metal scroll. What do you want to do?
I think we were searching the room.
Give me an investigation. So you start looking around through the rubble, under the remains of the beds, etc. So you spend probably a good 10 minutes searching around here, but you don't find anything. It appears the room is empty.
Well, this seems to be pretty empty. Shall we move on? I know we want to be careful, and we're coming up against. So it's like noon now. You said.
Yeah, at this point it's about 12:40ish.
Okay. We have a few more hours left in our seeming spell. We should probably try to make good use of it.
Indeed.
Is Johnny still in the hallway?
Yeah, he's just standing out here. I think he was mad about something when we last left off. He was kind of...
Yeah, I don't remember exactly. Beldani, I think we were going to head north, not that direction.
Oh, well, this hallway is still unexplored.
Is seeming an 8-hour spell?
It is indeed.
Okay.
So I think.
Explored that hallway.
Yeah.
Oh, it's unexplored on my map, weirdly.
Because you, I think, were gone.
Probably
that
because
day.
I was
think
not
we were
here.
out that day.
Yeah.
Hang on, everybody. Wait for everybody to group up together again.
Alright, so you carefully make your way down the hallway. Remind me, Beldani, what is your passive perception?
20.
That's with sound?
With sound or vision.
Okay.
What about smell?
Or smell.
Or smell. So you think you hear footsteps coming from the end of the hall. The very
Like
end.
this
But
far end, or what? When you mean end? What?
yeah, kind of like at the turn way up here, but you can't really see very well up there. It just sounds like something or someone has walked past.
I'll hold up my hand and whisper, I can sneak ahead and check it out. See what there is up ahead.
Fine. Just remember, I'm the one that can negotiate with the Teller Hawk, because I, am a one. Am a not one. Am a kind of one.
And he can understand things right now.
Yeah, that too, because Pat over here, I can't call him one arm anymore, gave me stuff.
Well, I'm just going to see what it is and then head right back. So I'm
I can't
gonna.
call him 1 hour anymore. Sounds like he's like the Michael Scott of our group.
What's giving you the understanding? Comprehend languages?
Yes, and I don't remember how long that was on for, though. Theo, did you have that
Hour.
down?
It lasts for an hour.
Right. Do you remember when you cast that?
I think that we cast it
10
Yeah, I
minutes ago at most.
Okay. So yeah, pretty recently.
Did we
All
cast
right.
it again? Oh wait, no, that was only one time. Never mind. Yep,
He drank it.
that's right.
Yeah, because
Alright.
you made when we were brewing potions, so.
Yep.
So you're moving up the hallway. You see the crushed skeleton up here.
Yes, and I am moving stealthily, and I do not have a light source on me, so I should be able to hide in the shadows.
Yes, as long as something isn't near you with dark vision.
Just reminder, pressure plates smush. Careful.
Yeah, lots of pressure plates in here.
Or disengage it before you go across, because I think you're standing right beside the panel.
And reminder that you have seeming on you.
Yes.
So you look like a big orc demon.
So I will continue down.
Hang on. As you step there is a click,
Oh dear.
and the ceiling would come smashing down.
That's a new
Give.
hallway, or would he have known that from?
I mean, that was there last time. I don't know if the group kept track of exactly where it was, but that would be a deck save for you to avoid getting smushed. So, yes, luckily you are very good at deck saves. I assume you're going to jump backwards, or do you want to try to dive forwards?
I will jump backwards to stay with my group.
Alright, so this smashes down. You end up back here, and you see the ceiling slowly going back up as there's a clicking noise as it does.
And I'll just turn back to the group and shrug and say, well, I guess we're not sneaking up.
Can you use Tinker tools to disarm mechanisms, or just trap?
I think.
I think it has to be thieves' tools.
Do I see a place where I can disarm this particular trap?
So, the spot where you disarm, because I'm assuming maybe it's been a bit, so the group may have forgot, but you guys have been here pretty recently, like only a day or so ago. The spot to disarm that you found was over here, in the middle of the trap. And I think last time someone flew over and was doing it.
I think it was Theo.
Yeah.
But there is a little access panel in the center. The other option is to, I think you had used perception to figure out where the pressure plates were, and acrobatics could be used to balance between them.
Okay, I think that's what I will do. So I'll make an acrobatics check to balance between the pressure plates.
All right, so you take a look. Are you using a light source to look at the pressure plates? Or are you trying to do it in the dark?
Well,
I'm
the
behind you.
professor has a light source, so I would
Okay.
at least have some
So,
light.
so Zalia kind of walks up, giving you light, which would give you a 20, making it very easy to see them, and 19 acrobatics. You would successfully get over here. As you
All right, so
quickly balance, moving up to where the panel is, and now it would just be thieves' tools. And I found out something else interesting. Apparently, according to the rules, magic traps can be disabled with an Arcana check.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
At least rules is written, which I think is a little silly, but all right, fine. I'll keep that in mind.
Surprises me, honestly.
Knowing how to properly.
So you'd have to
affect
be
the spell.
one more up,
okay.
Beldani.
I could see that
Okay.
for something like a glyph or something like that.
Yeah, no, it makes some sense, but I almost feel like there should still be some tools involved.
Well, and it also like diminishes the value of like dispel magic to some extent.
Yeah. But anyway, Beldani, give me... Oh, you did already. All right, 23 would be enough. There is a click as you disable the first part of the trap. There are two more parts.
all right.
I'm assuming since he's disabled it before, it's potentially a bit easier.
I
Also,
thought it
since he
was...
can't roll less than a 23.
Oh, that's true too.
Can you not roll less than a 23?
I can't roll less than a 23.
Oh, all right.
Walking
Well,
rogues.
in that case, you would disable all three.
But if you really
Yeah.
want to roll, you can roll.
I was going to say my
disable it really
acrobatics. My acrobatics is a minimum of 19. My perception is a minimum of 20, and my thieves' tools is a minimum of 23 at this point.
Love it.
So, because rogues.
Because rogues.
Mm-hmm.
Getting to those higher levels.
So you think all three parts of the trap are disabled?
And do I see anyone at the end of the hallway?
No.
All right. Like either whoever's at the end of the hallway is scared off or they're hiding from us. But I think we should continue on. The trap should be cleared unsafe.
So
I could-
Ivor, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I could potentially have my new friend fly down the hallway and take a peek, unseen, if he is willing to do so.
That's fine by me.
Yeah,
He
I mean,
also
I don't
won't
know that
trigger
we
any
knew
traps.
I mean,
Quite
if
so
you really
clever
want, I
about
could
it.
throw Dumbax down the hallway.
I think that would rather defeat the purpose. He's not quiet.
We are fairly well disguised. I'm not sure we need to be super clever about being unseen.
Very well. What were you gonna say, Lou?
Well, you said you're sending Tinder down to take a look.
I was going to, but it seems that we agree that it is perhaps unnecessary.
All right. So Tinder would say to you something that you might not want the rest of the group to hear.
Sure.
So let me whisper it.
Wait.
You can tell me if it's okay to talk about this in
I'm
voice.
fine with sending him. Zelia was just thinking that in the interest of time, she's worried about being.
You're breaking up a little bit, at least for me, Zalia. Just FYI.
Zelia's just worried about the interest of time because she's worried about being down here for so long.
Sure. Yeah.
You just want to go back to town so you can read more books.
She is a wizard.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong. Cozy chair, fireplace, books, or this shit.
Sold.
You can tell me whether or not you want me to talk about that in voice.
No.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
All right, so Beldani, you are quietly making your way down the hall.
All right. Are we following?
I assume
so.
so. So as you get to the edge here, you would see, the spikes here that are still activated, and to the west, or actually, sorry, to the east, you would notice a couple of figures standing in the hallway. And you recognize these from before. Hang on, let me give you a picture.
She sees the spikes. Zelia's going to turn to Theo and say, "How do you suppose to get any work done around here with all these traps?"
Demon teleportation.
Perhaps.
Or memorizing where they are so much you just step around them naturally.
These are the same guys that were worshipping before?
Yes, that you
Yeah.
saw within the room.
These are the humanoids that we think are from our own plane.
They
These-
seem like
they're
orcs.
Yeah, but they are not demons. They're just nuts.
You would see two of them in the hallway. It sounds like they are speaking to each other in hushed tones over here.
I will take a step back and let Donnie know that we have cultists ahead, and if he wants to
Awkward
do
smash.
the negotiation talk, let's
Ah,
just get by
fine.
them.
See if you can find out more about why they're here, Donnie.
Okay, why here? Anything else?
Well, we don't ask questions like that because they'll know, but see if you can, winkle anything out of them.
Got
Does the
it.
dragon have a special room somewhere near here?
The dragon. Telerock or somebody else?
Trogdor.
Okay, got it.
We should probably all stick together, though, because we're meant
Yeah.
to be some sort of posse.
Come on, posse, you guys with me.
Maybe that's not the right word.
So Donnie would kind of walk out here and in Orcish speak, "Hell!"
Sorry, give me a second.
This couldn't possibly be wrong.
It's a pretty good, Orcish warrior word.
So the cultists turn around, seeing that you are the demons, which I'm trying to remember the name.
Maruk?
And Rook.
The Tenaruk, yes, the Tenaruk. They
You got
would,
Maruk and Tenaruk. You're going to confuse the hell out of me.
yeah, they will bow to you with reverence as they kind of wait for you to pass by.
So as I kind of start passing them by, I would look down at them. Have you seen anything?
I assume in Orcish.
Yeah, in Orcish.
They sort of look at each other, look back at you, and say, the hallways have been cleared. We do not know where the invaders went. We assume they may have left this place.
Question. Can you cast message discreetly? I think the verbal component's the actual words itself, but it's one of those things of...
So, generally with magical effects, unless you have, I think it's subtle spell, or whatever that's called, there is some bit of magic that can identify that you're using magic. That's how it is with most magical effects, I
Would you
believe.
be able to, like, sort of turn around at the back and kind of cast it?
I mean, I guess it's a cantrip. You could give me a stealth check, maybe, to try to hide it.
Or like a sleight of hand, maybe, for the somatic.
Stealth works. Would that still be a disadvantage because of my armor? It's heavy armor.
Yes, it would make it harder for you to do, because you are in heavy armor, to be quiet and discreet.
Still a +8.
Yeah. Alright, so yeah, you don't think they notice you cast message back here?
Gonna message to Donnie, ask him where the big guy is. Or if they've seen the big guy.
One we killed?
There might be another.
So Donnie hears his voice in his head and he thinks to himself, dumbass is just telling me what I already know what to do. But says out loud. But says out loud, when did you last report in?
Excuse me. Reported? What do you mean?
Yes. I said we didn't get the... Did we get the big guy's name, the guy we battled in the church room?
I don't think that we got a name necessarily, but we do know... We had heard other demons even refer to him as the Nelfeshni.
Yeah.
Or just say the big guy.
Now Peshni in the halls of worship.
We were not given the task of scouting the hallways. We have not reported to anyone, but in our walks through the temple, we did not see the intruders, or anyone out of place for that matter. We also did not see the Bodak intruder either.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm trying to think how far I want to actually push this. I would say in response, carry on. If you hear something or see something, you be sure to alert us. For now, we need to go and report in. When was the last time you saw our leader?
He says, well, we saw the demon when we were attending the ceremony earlier, but we haven't seen him since.
Okay, keep up the good work.
They just sort of nod.
Hello,
Hey, you
Orc
back
is
there,
listening.
keep up.
They seem a little confused as the rest of you walk past.
Is this a pile of rock?
Yeah, so this is the same rubble. Oh, that over there? Yeah, that's like a caved-in area.
Hurry up, you laggards. You're falling behind. And Donnie would kind of get to that
Is there a
point.
turn there, or is that wall?
That's just yeah, that's just wall, a little bulge, allegedly.
Yeah.
Seems like just a small, destroyed area of the wall, yeah.
I am going to take a look at this strange little dip in the wall, see if I can perceive anything unusual about it.
Yep.
And Donnie would kind of say to the group as Donnie's doing it and everyone catches up, see, I did good. And you also didn't have to message a whole bunch of times in my head like you do sometimes other times. So good on you. Good job.
Yes, Don.
Good job, everyone.
really superlative at that. Thank you so much.
Salute
Yes.
to you as well.
So looking closely, you see divots in the wall, which almost might seem like someone was trying to use a pickaxe to dig through here.
All right.
So it's not like an opening, is it?
I mean, it's not an opening, but it's like a small alcove. Yeah, it looks like someone was trying to dig through the wall from this side.
Scratches on the wall.
Not scratches, more like impacts from, like I said, a pickaxe or something.
Yeah. So I'll come in and have a look too. Investigate that.
Okay.
See if I can see any secret doors or mechanisms.
So excuse me again. You don't see any obvious things to activate. It just looks like someone was trying to dig a hole through the wall.
What do you suppose happened here?
Someone tried to dig a hole through a wall, isn't it obvious?
Perhaps there's a chamber on the other side that they couldn't access. That perhaps maybe there was originally a different passage there that is now blocked, and they were trying to get through another way.
Nice.
I think
I
perhaps if we explore the hallway to the east, maybe we'll have a better idea.
Or perhaps
Indeed, I
they
have-
just like digging. I mean,
Allow me one moment to consult my notes here, but you all can keep talking, just don't move anywhere yet.
again,
Okay.
like, some people just like to dig, some people just like to smash. Sometimes
True
it's not
that
that
some
complicated.
people just like to dig, Johnny. That's quite astute of you, but generally not in a temple like this, I would say.
Did you
So
just call me an ass?
no,
Okay. You said astute.
astute. Yes, it's all one word.
Oh, okay.
Means quite clever.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I am.
Yes, but in this case, all signs point to perhaps somebody trying to get through to the other side, or dig something out of the wall. So it would behoove us to try to figure out exactly what it is they're after. Unfortunately, I have not prepared stone shape today. I enjoy using lots of big words for Azalea when Donnie continues.
No, I love it. I think it makes a great reflex. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I think
And
you're right
kind of
about...
overplaying his struggle with words. He's like doing it somewhat intentionally at this point, in all honesty.
I think you're right about that, Jarvo. I think message is supposed to be pretty subtle because it's...
And the
It's
other
just
person has to whisper back if
a
they want to
cantrip.
whisper a response. But
Yeah, I mean, it's basically the whisper is the subtlety of it, you know, because you have to say it out loud.
that's the whole reason why I was asking, is because it was like in the description it gives you the hand part and the verbal part in the description, or you could roll. No, you still have to shout and stuff before that. You just then whisper what you're gonna
Yeah,
say.
I don't think it is because you know what? Otherwise, it would be useless. It's only like 100-foot distance.
120, but yeah.
Having some trouble finding what I was hoping to find.
Well, I mean, it's also meant to be a cantrip, which, you know, at this level are meant to be kind of useless.
Yeah, but it'd be
Out there,
super useless.
guidance is still great.
And I don't have any cantrips that are awesome.
I mean, the only cantrip that ends up proving to be of any worse is Warlock's Eldritch Blast.
That's complete bollocks. My firebolt does tons of damage, and
Yeah,
mending is
Firebolt
awesome.
is
Yeah,
great. That's right.
Firebolt.
You did hit a guy for fucking 40 with it in the last
Right,
fight.
and minor illusion's pretty awesome if you use it properly.
Yep.
That is a very fun spell if you get creative with it.
I just cast Vicious Mockery all the time as my bard.
That's pretty.
I could see that.
I actually I made up only the second bard sheet I've ever made before last week, because like I don't know, they always on the surface they just feel hinky to me. But I was listening
I love
to
bard.
I was listening to a sea shanty on repeat for like a week, and I was like, "That's a great idea for a part."
Yeah, my new character is a historian. You'd appreciate it. Or Zalia would appreciate this. Is he's a historian, but he tells all of his stories in beat poetry.
Ed, get down,
Snap,
please.
snap, 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 snap.
Stop.
Yep.
Get down.
He's got his little bongos that he takes with him all the time, so he's just constantly going "but and then they hit the beat of the story, bum, and then Mister went to the show, bada. You know, like that's how he talks all the time.
That is beautiful.
He is annoying that word. I think the other players are enjoying it, but yeah, he's quite annoying.
Wasn't there a Sesame Street character who spoke in beat poetry?
That might have been. I think
I'm
I got
just
this
thinking of the
inspired
Goofy
from somewhere.
movie.
I don't know where I got it from.
Goofy movie.
Maybe, yeah.
Fine with you.
No, but I'll just roll with it. Zalia, you would feel the crystal in your hand getting warm again as you move south this way.
Okay. Well, you said it was on or off, so is it getting warm or is it warmed up?
It's warm.
Okay. There's something close by. I'll hold up the crystal and show everyone what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Can you tell me when and if that fades?
Yeah, I will.
What does this look like? Is this just a door?
This is some sort of iron gate.
Okay.
Oh, that's the one the Bodak disappeared through when we chased it the very first time we came in.
Neat.
And what are we seeing further down this hallway? It looks like we're hitting the edge of the map, so I'm just wondering, is it a barrier or is there another map?
It looks like it turns north.
There also might be something down that way.
There is a hallway to the south, which also turns eastward.
I'm gonna check out the
One way at a time.
Alright, so
gate.
Ivor, as you move there, you would see a crystal light up in the little divot here. One of those fire crystals.
I will reach out and touch it.
Alright, so once again...
This is Zalia, right?
Yeah. So, and actually, I actually should have told Zalia that she saw that as well. But yeah,
she
you would
actually see it at range. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, you would see Ivor touch it and absorb the fire.
Zelia. So does my crystal get cold after Ivor eats the crystal?
Yes.
Sure, he eats it.
Hey, bud. Why'd you just reach down randomly?
I thought I saw a rock or something with some sort of iconography on it. Turns out it was, in fact, just a rock.
Uh-huh.
They'll give you such a look.
I believe that fully.
You shouldn't.
I might have
believe
dropped
everything
something.
You hear, Theo?
Yes. 'Cause
Not
I
everything you hear.
definitely
just only the
believe.
things that come from me.
What?
Hmm?
When?
I actually didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I said, no, he shouldn't believe everything that he hears, only the things that he hears from me.
Did you try and bend and snap in front of Z?
No.
I don't know what to do with either one of you, to be honest, and she stalks off.
I'm going to investigate this gate to see if it is locked or trapped.
You don't see an obvious way of opening it. It just seems like it goes up to the ceiling.
It looks like we can see through it. What are we seeing through it?
You see a hallway going south for quite a ways. But I don't think anyone can see past 60 feet.
Is there a lock on
Oh,
it?
so through the gate this is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oop.
Is there a lock on the gate?
Not that you could see, it just looks like bars going up into the ceiling.
I will,
It's not
as
a
I
gate so much as like a grate.
Yeah, yeah, sure. It's just a bunch of bars.
Does it look like would be easy to move or possible to move or not?
The bars are pretty thick. You probably couldn't bend them, but you do have sight, so possibly teleportation effects could get you through there.
Question. Can we see anything on the other side that might look like a panel we would need access to get this open?
You have a light source. Yeah,
Yep.
Azalea's
Yes.
there. Not within your line of sight for the light. You don't see anything obvious.
Well, and it doesn't
Bill,
look like
do you
it's
wanna-
meant to be open. It's a grate,
Oh.
not a...
And Azalea, you feel the warmth again when you get there.
Bell, do you
Uh,
want to
Can I
explore
look
the
around? Do
other
I see a
side?
crystal? Oh, sorry.
You're good.
Yeah, so you guys all turn and see Belle just blink out and reappear 30 feet down the hall
Go off.
As you
on the other side of the grate.
as you
So
as you yeet onto the other side of the grate, I'll call to your attention that it looks like the passageway turns eastward
Alright.
down at the very end. Keep your eyes about.
So as you appear there, the floor gives way underneath you. Give me a deck save. Hey.
Lou, did I see the crystal when the thing heated up?
You don't see a crystal right now, no. So are you gonna dive forward as the ground gives out?
forward, yes.
Alright, as you jump forward, a bunch of explosions and blades shoot out of the wall. Give me another deck save. Actually, give me 3 deck saves.
Crap. I might have been able to help, but it's an action, not a reaction.
Damn.
Here, whoa.
Damn.
Alright, so you, which way, I guess,
Tiny dancer, indeed.
I guess you're kind of diving backwards out of the explosion and the blades.
Wherever I can safely go. I mean,
All right.
I think depending on where the blades are, I would say I might press myself into the wall in like this area.
All right.
Between the explosions.
So you could go back and try to balance on the edge of the pit. That would be an acrobatics check. You could go forward and try to, I guess, stay just outside the explosion, which would probably be another acrobatics check.
I'm in midair and crouching tiger, hidden dragon mode.
Huh.
I'll go forward with the acrobatics check.
All right. All right. So you dodge a bunch.
I want to sit
hang on.
back. I just want some popcorn as I watch
Yeah.
the dancer jump around.
He's so dexterous! Is there enough time in all of this happening?
Give me another deck save. Huh, hey.
Oh my god.
All right.
Delia's hand is in her, up to her mouth. She tries not to scream.
So yeah, you dodge out of the way of the first explosion. Several blades slash out as you duck under them, doing a flip. Moving forward, another explosion and blades, and then you duck more, dodging out of the way of everything so far. The blades would disappear back into the wall. So sorry, give me a sec. Shink. This one as well. Shink, and the explosion would just fade.
You good, Belle?
There's a bunch of clicks inside the wall.
I'll just take a deep breath and say, good thing that I went first. I think I'm good. And I am going to just take a look around to see if I can see any other trap triggers in my immediate vicinity.
So you would guess there's probably pressure plates on the floor because you felt it kind of sink in when there was the click. Do you have a light source you could pull out to look closer?
Da-da-da. I do. I have a hooded lantern.
All right. So if you want, you can spend a lamp oil, light that sucker up, and take a look around. So yeah, that's I think what was the each oil is like 6 hours, right?
6 hours. Yep.
right.
And it's bright for 30 and dim for 30.
All right. I think there's a lantern in the lighting if you want to pull it out, but go ahead and give me a perception check if you're lighting up the area. Okay, so yes, you do indeed see more pressure plates on the floor, and there are spaces between them if you want to try to do some more balance. It looks like they go all down the hallway.
And do I see any possibilities for either disarming the trap or opening the grate?
Nothing so far.
All right, then I will make an acrobatics check to continue down the hallway.
All right, so go ahead and move down. So when you get down to here, you would see up ahead a large rune light up on the ground in front of you. And glow, basically. But it doesn't seemingly do anything.
All right,
Can we
and
see the glow of it as
Come
he
help you if you want.
illuminates it?
Sorry, what?
Do we see the glow from where we are as he illuminates it?
Probably not, because he has his lantern out, so it would just look like there's light over there.
does it look like there are any pressure plates in this portion of the hallway, or are all the pressure plates?
No, it just
in
goes up to the wall here.
Okay, so there are pressure plates in the area where I'm standing.
Yes.
I'm just not standing on them.
You're balancing between them right now.
But these squares, there aren't pressure plates.
No, you don't see any.
But that does mean that no one can teleport down here without landing on one of the pressure plates.
We could dimension.
Activate my boots of flying. Hover a foot in the air.
Can you teleport?
Yes, I can teleport all of us.
Do you have
teleport forever.
Do you have Arcana, Beldani?
I do not.
Okay.
Hi.
So I am going to say, shout back that I see a rune down here. It looks sort of like a cave entrance with an eye and a little flat top. It's glowing, but it doesn't seem to be doing anything else at the moment.
Does that sound remotely familiar to me?
Give me an Arcana check with disadvantage.
Can I press a button on my armor and pop up right next to Beldani, a foot in the air?
What are you casting?
Sorry, 19.
It is the spell Vortex Warp out of my spell storing item.
Oh, sorry. Another thing you would note is there is a big chasm on the other side that goes down the hallway.
Small detail.
Vortex Warp. So you would attempt to use that, but for some reason when you said you're trying to teleport here?
Yeah, right beside Beldani.
So, for some reason, when you try to teleport there, your spell would fail. Or whatever the effect was would fail.
Okay, magical effects go down too.
Magical effects.
That's a
What?
charge gone out of that. I think that's anti-magic.
Anti-magic.
I
Are you
just
sure?
tried to teleport there.
You say this out loud.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
me being
yeah.
very flabbergasted. It didn't
That's
work.
intense. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to walk over to
Did
stand.
we get anything out of those Arcana checks, by the way, Lou?
Oh,
Yeah.
right, the Arcana.
19.
19 and 17. No, probably not. Probably not with those.
What if I'm thinking specifically that it might be an anti-magic rune?
Well, with what you were just told by Theo, that might make you think of, yes, that could be an anti-magic sigil of some kind, if his
And I
teleport
can
failed.
dispel magic without necessarily having, like, I have sight on the spot. So could I dispel magic from where I am?
I think it's around the corner from us. We can't see it.
Oh, the rune's around the corner?
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh.
it's 10 feet in front of me where I am, so it is not visible from where you are in the hallway.
Depending on
Okay.
where I can see it barely.
Well
Oh,
done. Do you think you could try to deactivate some of those traps so that we could get ourselves in there?
there was a door south on the other side that would go into a room connected to this. Potentially, the trigger could be in there.
There was?
Yes,
Pretty sure saw a door southwards.
there is a door basically in the hallway, adjacent, about the same distance south as I am.
Indeed. Theo, shall we check it out?
Sure.
While Theo and Ivor are going to check that out, I am going to look around here to see if I can see any sort of switches or controls or anything to disarm some of these traps.
It's just for a second. I think we'll be.
Alright, so you two are headed down the hallway, walking
For
down the
being
hallway.
smart.
Split the party!
We almost never do that, so.
I think this is our first time legitimately splitting the party. Other than
Well, we're-
sending Bell off to his potential doom.
We're not that far apart from each other, so
Yeah.
Give me a moment to check on something.
Okay, we'll sit tight.
I mean, famous last words, but we are within, like, dashing to each other on a turn, so.
No, shit goes down. Theo's first action, get Ivor back to the group.
Alright.
So he's gonna walk up and put her hands on the bars to try to see Beldani more.
Heat
So-
metal doesn't get hot enough to melt metal, correct?
No, it just does damage. Just heat damage or fire damage. Alright. So you walk down the hallway, you get to this area. And is that what you were heading over here?
Yes.
Yep, we just weren't sure if we should stay, so we've not moved.
It looks like more of someone trying to dig through. You would see a bunch of pickaxe strikes on the wall. It looks like they got partial way and maybe gave up, or you're not sure what happened.
So, does it look like it's trying to carve through wall and it just didn't get enough to get through the rest of the way, or they're cutting into solid stone? I do have training with no, I don't have. I have carpenter tools, but
If I had to guess, I would say perhaps whoever was picking at this wall had sort of the same idea we had, in that they could not get around this grate, but certainly wanted to. This begs the question, what the other picking up north was for.
We've already found a few secret rooms.
Indeed.
It's kind of plausible if you break through walls, you'll find something.
Alright, so Ivor, you can see under 20 feet, right?
Yeah. Ah, fuck.
So up to the north, as you're discussing things, you would see what looks like a completely dark cloud turn the corner and start heading south down the hallway.
Do I recall what those creatures are called? If the flying ones is what I'm thinking of. Does it look similar to that?
It does look similar, and give me initiative rolls.
Oh no.
Before we do that, I was waiting my turn, but I wanted to say that I was going to be examining this gate while I'm standing right next to it and trying to determine if there's any kind of mechanism underneath the floor, you know, like if it's even possible to move it. So just put a pin in that.
Alright, so far you don't see an easy way to do that, but...
I just want to see if it is capable. You know what I mean? Like, are
So-
there scratches?
Yeah, you would guess, if you look closely at it, that there may be some kind of scratches there, so you think it is meant to lower into the floor.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay.
2 natural ones!
Hot damn.
Who's the light?
I don't know.
That was me accidentally, so.
Okay, so you got better than a natural one. Only 1 natural one.
Wow.
No.
Yeah.
That's not the greatest array of scores, guys.
Everything's okay. We're gonna be alright.
So, Lou, if you can remove the torch from the turn order, I re-rolled to.
Alright.
Something, are we supposed to roll initiative?
Yeah, we're rolling
Yeah,
initiative. yep.
roll an initiative.
Sorry, I
Well, you
totally
don't see
did not
anything
hear
yet, but
that. Yeah, sorry, I totally did not hear that for some reason. I apologize.
Wow, our initiatives tonight.
Wow, he's right. Is Donnie still hanging back like that? He wouldn't have walked forward a little bit to like try to keep an eye on everybody, or is he
No,
pouting?
Donnie was actually thinking about keeping an eye on this corner. Is really what he was paying attention to.
nice.
Alright.
Split the party.
So, as the darkness is coming down the hallway, you would hear a screech, and a familiar creature or creatures come flying out.
Are they looking
we would just-
aggressive?
We would just
Like,
see
are
the
they-
cloud, right?
Well, at this point, creatures came flying out of the cloud,
Oh.
swooping down the hallway.
Yes. Fuck.
So they can
Remember,
tell we're
you
not
guys
Tanaruk?
look like humans.
Yeah, they would see them as still as Tanarok initially.
Well, at this point, they are swooping down the hallway towards you. So there was that one.
So the gig is up.
No, not necessarily.
Oh, we're gonna
Just
find out.
move out of their way.
This one would come
We're
to
not there.
here
It's up to them to decide what to do.
and swoop up this way, using a double move. They don't look like they are
that, Donnie?
attacking just yet, though.
Okay.
The dark cloud comes down the hallway, and here I'm going to put the darkness on it. Put that darkness field of it's. Let me double check that. Sorry. 10 foot. That's what it was. So it flies up this way, and that is it for the creature. Beldani, you hear some commotion back from the group. What do you want to do?
Huh. Well. First, I am going to kill my light. And then I'm going to.
So say item interaction to turn off your lantern.
Yes. And then I guess I will have to use. If I want to switch to my hand crossbow. Oh, that won't do me any good anyway, because they're far too far. Well, it'll be a disadvantage, so. I'm going to use my bonus action to move back up to the edge of the pit. I'm assuming I will need to make an acrobatics check.
Yeah, if you're staying, and you're probably moving at half speed because of your balancing.
Okay, so 5, 10, 15, so I can get to there.
All right. And give me an acrobatics. Yeah, you're good. All right.
And then I'll use my movement to get the next 10 feet. And yeah, I guess I will just keep an eye out to see what happens, but otherwise take no action.
All right, Donnie. So this large rock demon flies up looking right at you. What do you want to do?
I would take one step forward and kind of stare back at it, and then just kind of give it like a moderate like head nod, like what do you want, but not actually saying what do you want. Just kind of visually intonating that. And,
Yeah.
I would be holding in one hand my axe because it's always out, just kind of in a semi-prepared, ready to strike if it strikes at me or Zalia.
So you're readying, basically like putting your axe, readying a swing.
Yeah, as much as I can with. Again, if you won't allow it, because I don't want to appear aggressive. And
So if you don't want to appear aggressive, you probably couldn't ready that.
That's fair. Then I won't ready that. I'll just kind of. My axe is out because it's always out, and I imagine a lot of the Tenorocks are that way, but it's not in an aggressive place.
Okay.
And so yeah, he just head nodding at him. What do you want?
The creature would say something in Abyssal, and from behind him, I'll say your turn ends.
He understands Abyssal right now.
Comprehend languages.
It would say, so if you can understand it, it would say to you in Abyssal, there are demons in these halls attacking our people. We are searching for them. And that's all you can really do in 6 seconds. So
Do I respond this turn or next turn?
you probably have to wait for now because you already spoke.
Okay. Yep.
So the Tanaruk go. They come rushing down the hall using aggressive and a move.
Can they use aggressive if we're...
I guess not, so maybe just double move. Why is it... Oh, because their fucking night vision's turned on. That's why it's going so slow. I gotta turn that off. So these two come down this way, and you would see them come out of the darkness. So... Just... What's their movement again? 30, okay. And actually, with 60 feet, 60 feet flying, this guy would have come down to you. But he would see you as Tanaruk, so he does not attack right now. This guy came down, double moved down to here. And another one, double moved down through the darkness with him. And they would yell, "Halt there!" in probably in Abyssal, which I'm not sure if Theo and Ivor can speak.
Nope.
Okay.
Tinder has like a...
So Tinder would, yeah.
I don't know if he's actually fluent though.
Tinder would whisper to you what they said. Zalia, what do you want to do?
I'm gonna step on behind Donnie, try to look dumb and slightly groveling while still Tanner.
Alright. So you step back there, not doing anything just yet. And Ivor, what are you doing?
I will. I will tell Tinder to tell Theo what they said as well, because I don't want to talk in a language that I shouldn't know. And then I will just. Now here's the question: if you take the dodge action, is that obvious? Well, if I took the dodge action, would that be obvious?
Yeah, it would be obvious you were getting ready to, like, basically putting your defense up.
Okay. Then I will not do that. There's probably not a lot to be doing. Yep, don't want to ready anything because that's going to look sus. Yep, I'm just going to stay right here as directed by the Tenaruk and see how this shakes out.
Alright, Theo.
So, would getting ready to push a button that they can't see exists look aggressive?
You could probably do like some kind of sleight of hand or stealth check if you're trying to hide the action.
Alright.
What are you readying to do exactly?
Getting ready, if they try to attack Ivor, I'm going to Vortex Warp him to as far as I can see. I think that's where the darkness starts.
So if like the Vrock is physically attacking him?
If anything physically attacks him.
Okay. So the Vrocks go. So this one says in Abyssal, "We shall test your demonicness." And it goes, "Ah!" letting out a screech. I need saving throws.
Jigs up.
Jigs up. Cheese it. So you need to give me a saving throw versus stunning screech, which is a DC 14 con save. Alright, so Zalia, unfortunately, you would fail, and you are stunned. So Zalia would freeze up, and I think, let's see, stunned until the end of the Rock's next turn. The creature would say, looking at Zalia, "She is not a demon!" And it looks like it's getting aggressive. This one is screeching as well, so I need Theo and Ivor saving throws.
Fuck.
I think you're out of range, Beldani, so you're okay.
Okay.
Oh!
Nice.
Great, I'm the only demon. Just tell him I have a migraine headache.
Did you roll one, Theo?
Above.
Yeah, I got 21.
Oh, there it is.
Sure as shit.
So... Alright,
good
so
X
you guys resist it. Yeah, you resist the screech, but you hear yells from back down the hallway.
And I hear the Rock yelling in Abyssal.
Yes.
Does Tinder?
Yeah. Tinder, no, he does not, well, does he
He
hear
doesn't
him?
know.
He's not sure exactly what's going on.
But it sounds pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
Alright.
Alright, so the Vrock's turn ends. The Nabasu is going to fly down the hallway towards Zalia as you are all engulfed in the darkness, and he is going to attack her.
What a dick.
What
So
a
that's an auto
jerk.
crit because I'm stunned, right?
If he hits. So
Is it an auto crit or you just have disadvantage? He has advantage.
no, it's a paralysis. You're not helpless, you're just stunned. So it's not an auto crit unless... well, no, it's not an auto crit because it would only be paralysis or like sleeping or something. But it would have advantage. So it's going to make 2 claw attacks against you.
I assume I don't have a reaction.
No, not when you're stunned. Though luckily it rolls... well, no, because there's advantage. Never mind. 21 versus AC, so I don't think you can do much. It would claw you for 22 slashing. And the second one, it claws you with a crit for 26. But misses you with the bite.
Keep.
That is it for that thing. Beldani, what do you want to do? You just see darkness and you hear screeching from whatever that demon was that flew past.
Can I still see any of this creature?
He would have well, with the darkness he'd probably be basically invisible to you at this point. You could still target him, it would just be a disadvantage. Because you can still hear it.
Alright, then I am going to shoot my radiant crossbow bolt of walloping at it.
Nice.
Alright, so you load up your crossbow bolt and fire. Oh yeah, 21 would strike. Unfortunately, I don't think you could sneak attack because you...
No, I do not get sneak attack, but I still do 17 points of damage, 11 piercing and 6 radiant.
Alright.
Wait, is it next to any allies?
It doesn't matter, with disadvantage
Yeah.
you don't get sneak attack, no matter
Because
what.
you can't target the vital area if you're at disadvantage, I think is the argument. Because, yeah, I think it says that under sneak attack. But, yeah, you do 17 damage and the creature screeches angrily, saying in Abyssal, "There's someone behind the bars." That is it for Beldani. Donnie.
So you said we're enveloped in darkness?
Yeah, so you are blinded. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't know if it has how far its dark vision goes, but I'm going to, since I hid my light source, I'm going to attempt to use my bonus action to hide.
Okay. So give me a stealth check. So Donnie, you can tell where the creatures are from your hearing, but attacking them would be a disadvantage.
I see everything.
Oh, unless you have blind sight, then yes, you would just see them.
Yep. So bonus action, rage.
You see everything within 10 feet.
Yeah, which is basically everything.
It's basically everything.
Wow.
Yeah, what are you
This was
doing,
the main
Donnie?
reason this is exactly the reason I took this.
No. It was Beldani's roll. I was.
One
Although
is
that is-
Nat
23.
ones are still over 20.
Oh, there are
that
no-
one is still a critical fail? Or,
No,
you don't
not
play that
for-
way, do you? Yeah.
No, not
Not
for
for skill
skill
checks.
checks or saving throws, apparently.
But anyway, yes, with my blind sight, I rage. I pull out dumb axe.
Oh!
I can always see, unlike you. Ha ha ha. And I swing.
Which one are you swinging at?
The one that's generating the magical darkness.
Alright, so it yells, this one is an imposter too, as you slash him. Oh! Yeah, 30 would strike with the first attack.
Wrong button, sorry, there we go. So that, plus some radiant damage. Divine Fury. Which wasn't great, but... Yep, so...
So that would be 22 damage on the first hit.
Second attack. Oh wait, I wasn't raging. Add 2 to that. Sorry, I turned off my rage from earlier.
Alright. 13 would not be enough, unfortunately, and it would dodge out of the way. Anything else?
Do I get a... Sorry, since I have it all automatic. I don't get... When I'm raging, do I get a bonus to the attack? I have to check.
No.
No. That's just damage.
Then, so attack, bonus action. I don't want to move anywhere. Actually, no, I don't want to move anywhere. Yeah, that'd be pretty much it.
Alright, so the Tanaruk yells, move, stupid bird creature. He runs in here, and he is going to attack Donnie with disadvantage, I guess.
Yeah, 'cause he's blind. Or can he see through? Does he have blind
He does not. He has dark vision, but this is magical darkness, and I think only the bird creature can see through it. So yeah, he is going to use a greatsword attack. With disadvantage, 18 versus AC.
Still hit.
Alright, so you are cut for 13 slashing, which halves to 6, and he tries to bite you. 10 would miss as you jump back, avoiding the attack. This one here, let's see, he is going to just double move to get into position, moving through all his comrades. This one down here is going to yell at the rock that there are fake ones up north, and he is going to rush up this way, and then rush this way, and this other one is going to do something similar, looking for a way in. That's it for the Tanaruk. Zalia.
Stunned.
Yeah, I think you're stunned until the rock's turn. Let me double check that. Yeah, until the end of its next turn. Alright, so you're stunned. Ivor, what are you doing?
So the sounds of combat are apparent at this point, yes?
Yeah, the Vrok's just watching you two, trying to figure out if you were stunned, but it doesn't look like you were.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to take advantage of that. Well, he is watching us, so... Fucking rocks. And we have fought rocks before, right? Like outside of the vault?
Yeah, you fought them when you were coming down here. There were a bunch of them.
Right, okay. Alright.
We can't communicate on each other's turns, correct?
Well, unless you're talking out loud.
Is there a sufficient space to move around the rock since he's not... Since the hostility is vague?
He would probably prevent you from moving around him right now.
Okay. Does it look like he would attempt to hit me if I moved away from him?
If you tried to move past him, maybe. It doesn't look like... It looks like he's cautious of you. It doesn't look like he's hostile just yet.
Okay, I will take what I can get. So, in that case, mostly just because I don't want to be taken aback by the shock or the screech. Well, in any case, I'm going to move 5, 10, 15, 20 feet, and then I will about face and attempt to blast him in his face with 6 scorching rays.
Alright, so he says something in Abyssal as you blast at him.
How does it do it this way? Okay, it'll do... Alright, so 1, 2, 3... Oh, it marks off a cast every time? That's obnoxious. Hold up. Okay, 4, 5, 6...
Alright, so you strike him with 4 of those. Alright, so he takes 15 points of fire damage as he is slightly burned by the fire.
Okay, and I would also implement a feature to wreath myself in flames that will shed 30 bright, 30 dim.
Alright. Theo.
Ivor, you want to go up?
It's up to you.
I'm going to use my action to try and get Ivor closer to supporting Z. And am I able to see there?
It does not look like there's magical darkness there, at least. So, yeah, I think you can currently see as far as you can see.
Yeah, you're 60 feet.
Let me make sure how far 60 feet is. Alright, I'm going to press a button to use my action and send Ivor 60 feet from me forward.
Okay, like basically right at the intersection.
Yes.
Cool.
Pretty sure we just heard Z scream out in pain, so.
Oh.
I did
Okay.
loudly. Thing went-
It was a stun scream.
No, the
You
stun
went?
came after.
Oh, that's true.
And then
Fuck me.
I'm going to bonus action Guardian for 10 HP.
Alright.
And square up with this rock, try and keep its attention, shouting and looking like I'm about to beat its face in.
Alright, so you go to punch that guy.
I can't punch him right now because he's my action to teleport him. It's more, I'm trying to keep his attention. He just saw me cast a spell and threaten him.
So the rock goes. This one is going to yell something in Abyssal down the hall. When he does, these two turn around to look at Ivor, the two Tanaruk up here.
Unfortunate.
And then he is going to look at Theo and flap his
Caster.
wings a bit. And a bunch of spores shoot off of him. Theo, give me a con save. Alright. So you resist as you get the spores on you, but luckily they don't do anything. And he is going to... he's going to fly this way, giving you an Oppie.
Alright.
If you want to spend your reaction on it.
I'm going to... Wait, can I use Flash of Genius on attacks?
No, I don't think so.
Let me double check.
Also, you already used your reaction to swing at
Oh,
him.
yeah, I did. Never mind, so I couldn't use it
Yep.
anyways.
So he flies up this way. But he can't attack because he used the spores. This guy here is going to... I think he's going to fly away as well, giving Donnie an Oppie if he wants to use his reaction.
What was it that was flying away?
The Vrock.
Rock, yeah.
Yeah, I'll use my Oppie.
Alright, so go ahead and mark yourself as using your reaction and swing.
Nice.
Oh yeah, 27 would land a hit.
And I believe since it's a different, not my turn or whatever the ruling is, I can use my Divine Fury on that.
Yes. So he would take 19 points of damage, screeching angrily as he flies away. He flies over to here and shakes a bunch of spores out. I need a con save, Ivor. Alright, so you resist his poisonous spores. The Nabasu goes looking angrily towards Donnie, and how smart is he? Oh, he's pretty smart. He is going to look at Zalia curiously, look at Donnie, and I think he's going to go for Zalia because she's still stunned and he's pretty smart.
I'm not still stunned. You said at the beginning of the
Oh,
turn.
right, you're not stunned anymore. Maybe he won't go for you. But Donnie did use his reaction. He's gonna take an attack on Zalia.
Okay.
So he does a claw attack. I guess he has so many things he can do. Yeah, so claw attack on you. Oh, natural 1. So that would definitely miss. Second claw attack. Another crit. Alright, so unfortunately he would get you with that one for 16 slashing.
Okay.
That was not a very good crit. And he's going to try to bite you. 23 versus AC.
That hits.
Alright, so he bites you, and I'm guessing you can't do anything about it for 32 piercing, which I think might drop you, unfortunately.
Yep. I'm down.
He's going to fly over this way afterwards. That's it for him. Beldani.
All right.
He'd fly over there after I beat on him earlier.
Yeah, he's going for Ivor.
I think probably the shit that we heard in Abyssal was Caster or some such.
I'm going to try and squeeze my way onto the edge of this pit.
Okay.
Do I need to give an acrobatics check for that?
Yeah, probably. Oh, you are still fine.
For us to be without a healer.
And I will once again shoot my radiant crossbow bolts at this creature, and I am now within 30 feet and can see it, so I would get sneak attack if I strike.
Yes. And Donnie is there. So 28 would definitely hit. 36. Good hit. Oh, he turns around seeing you. And looks very upset. Anything else?
No. Because I don't think I can hide from him at this point, so that is my turn.
Alright, Donnie.
So I'm going to start by hitting at the one that Beldani just shot. I think it was that one.
Yes.
Yep. So we're going to start with hitting at him. I am going to go reckless.
Alright, so you have advantage. He doesn't look like he's very well armored anyway, but 14 would strike.
Oh,
Oh!
that was going to hit 17 plus some divine fury.
Alright, so there is an explosion of radiant energy as he takes 25 and looks wounded. Ah!
Let's go ahead and hit at him again.
Oh yeah, 23 would definitely strike as you bring Dumbaxe down for another 14, and he is looking badly hurt.
And I am going to bonus action surge.
And actually, he gets to do a reaction to that because you attacked him. He is going to swing at you with advantage. For Orcus. As he brings his greatsword down upon you. Oh yeah, advantage anyway, I guess. 24 would strike, doing 8 slashing, which halves to 4.
Yep.
So did you say you were action surging?
Yep, action surge, extra attacks.
Alright.
So recklessly, obviously. 17 to hit.
Oh yeah, 17 would, or 19, for 13 plus d8.
I don't think I would still get
Oh
that.
right, the same turn.
Yeah.
So he takes 13 and looks badly wounded, but he is still up.
And I only get one more attack with action surge, or do I get 2? I always forget.
You get your full attack, which would be 2.
So that would be 2, yep. Let's see if we can't at least down one of them. Fucking son of a bitch.
15 would strike. You cut into him, and
Nice.
he goes
one
down.
of them out at least, so hopefully they won't be able to finish you. That's all. So I might move over here and trying to like at least block anyone else from getting to Zalia.
Alright, so Tanaruk go, they look at the darkness and like, we don't want any of that. So he rushes over this way, surrounding you, and attacks you. Well, not surrounding you yet, but getting on the other side. Oh. I think he has advantage, right?
But yeah, because I was recklessly.
Alright.
That's my big little guys.
So he gets a crit with the first attack. Lots of crits for them tonight.
Hold on. Can I do that? Oh no. Never mind.
He does 19 slashing, which halves to 9.
Yep.
You said you weren't doing anything, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was looking at fanatical focus. That only can cause. That's only saving throws, not.
No silvery barbs for you this time.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I love that so much.
You son of a bitch. Second attack would strike you with a 21, doing another 8, which halves to 4. This one here is going to try to move here for the flank, and cut you down with 2 attacks. Again, at advantage.
These guys don't hit
Oh, I
very
forgot
hard.
one of these guys is Alright, so the first one would strike 24 versus AC, cutting into you for 9, which halves to 4. And he would then bite you savagely for 5, which halves to 2.
Yep.
Not hard enough.
Yeah. He's like, oh,
When they're hitting me, they're hitting me for like 30.
That was that flying one. That thing hit pretty hard. So this last one comes at you, Donnie, with advantage. 18 would strike you, doing 11, which halves to 5, and he would bite you for a 25, which would do 6, which halves to 3. So 8 points total, as these guys all jump on you, taking advantage of the opening you left.
ow, ow. You guys are like thorns. Ow. Ooh. Okay.
Did you suddenly turn into your other character?
Oh yeah, sorry, that's the wrong voice. Huh?
I was like, that's not Donnie. Alright, Zalia, unfortunately you are down, trying to survive, so give me a death save. Alright, so you get 1 success, turning away the darkness. Ivor, the little devil on your shoulder, says, you're in trouble.
Yeah, no kidding. So here's a question. With the... well, actually, how long did that last? Let me read the verbiage. Okay.
So the
with the flames that are currently on me, how do those interact with the darkness of the Nabasu?
I think they'd just be cancelled out because it's a magical darkness, unless the flames specifically say they go through magic darkness.
They do not say that, but actually I believe that works in my favor for once. Because if I recall correctly, I can actually see currently, yes?
Do you have a certain sight?
I do have the thingy, yes.
So then yes, you can see currently.
I understood that reference.
Can I move around the Nabasu without? So obviously the rocks can't see me, but can I move around the Nabasu without like rubbing up against the rocks to let them know that I've moved?
You generally can't move diagonally through enemies, so you'd be stuck there at the moment.
Okay, I wasn't sure how
Unless
much
you had
that
like
space
a
there.
teleport.
No. Okay, so last time they saw me. Yeah, okay, so here's what I'll do. This is all rough stuff. Real rough stuff. Fuck. Alright, I am going to attempt to slash savagely at the one to the south of me. And they appear to not be able to see, correct?
Yes, so you'd be at advantage. Oh yeah, 16 would strike with your primal savagery, doing, let me check acid damage real quick. Acid, so full damage, he takes 22, as you cut into him with acid claws.
Okay. Now, to move or not to move. Because they're... Yeah, because I think they're going to try to swing where they saw me. Well, he might just fucking tell them. We're going to find out. I'm going to step back because I don't want them to start swinging at the space that I know they saw me.
Okay. They can still hear you. Unless you stealth, they will know where you are. They will just have disadvantage.
So it wouldn't matter. Okay, in that case, it does not benefit me to do that, and I do not want to take an oppie.
Try to stealth.
I have used my action.
Yeah, unless you're a rogue, that would use an action to stealth.
Yeah, so I will stay put.
Alright. So Tinder would ask you, I do have some power. Should I use it to help your group?
I thought being able to hear where somebody was the benefit of blind sight.
Well, if you have blind sight, you don't get disadvantage.
It's blind sight, and the hearing thing is pretty much daredevil hearing compared to normal hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You have echolocation.
Yeah.
That actually reminds me, I was going to ask Well, I was going to ask whether or not he would be able to assist Zalia, but if he is volunteering his services, then I will instead say, anything you can do right now would be a great boon, I think. And
Alright.
yeah,
So
you may save our lives.
he can save our lives. So he does some kind of chant, and let's see. Zalia, you would gain 22 hit points.
What?
As healing energies seem to course through you.
Ether, is that you?
That
It's a small thing.
Donnie's like, I did it. That was me. Theo, what do you want to do? You're welcome. Theo, what do you want to do?
Would there be any small rocks around me? I'm guessing this is where the magic darkness begins.
Yeah, so you can definitely see part of the rock. He would just have some concealment, but you would not have disadvantage to attack him.
Any loose stones or rocks
Yeah,
on
there's
the ground?
probably rocks near the dig site here.
Alright, I'm going to use my action to catapult that at the rock.
Alright, go ahead and make a catapult attack.
Need a
So the rock will attempt to dodge that.
just trying to get its attention.
They are strangely dexy birds. But he only rolls a 12 and would fail. So he takes 17 damage, which is bludgeoning. Now, does that count as magical?
The spell.
It is a spell. Sure.
It would go to a ruling of whether or not you think the spell continues through the entire action or if it ends right after the launching point.
let me check something really quick. Okay. Yes, I think it is technically a magical source. So, yeah, so he would take the full 17 and look wounded. Anything else?
Pound my chest and look real cocky at it.
Okay. The Vroks go. So this one, is very annoyed at you and is not super bright, so he is going to fly down this way, giving Ivor an Oppie if he wants to take it.
I don't actually have an excellent... Because that has to be...
It has to be a weapon attack, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you have Warcaster.
I do not. And
Would
all
the
of my...
primal thingy be able to
No.
apply?
Nope, that's
Okay.
a spell.
Yeah, it'd have to be Warcaster for that.
Yep, I will do not that.
Alright, so you don't spend your reaction, and Theo, this thing lunges at you, and it is going to use its beak attack and a talon. So first it pecks at you, 21 versus AC.
Hits.
Alright, so it kind of gets you off guard as it comes lunging out of the dark, doing 7 piercing. It then slashes you for AC 15.
Miss.
Alright, so you dodge back, avoiding the talons. This one here, he's going to peck at Ivor in the darkness, and he will say something in Abyssal angrily. Sounds kind of annoyed. So, Ivor,
He says, fucking Nabasu, get your shit out of my face.
get your darkness out of here. They would both miss thanks to the disadvantage, because he can't target you very well. And he is frustrated, so he is going to fly back over this way to here. Take a look around. I think he has fly 60. So he is going to...
He did just hear a... Well, He saw. But no, wait, no darkness there. He couldn't see.
Yeah. So he flies over this side, ends his turn. The Nabasu goes. He's going to screech angrily and target you with soul stealing. Or wait, can he do that? Yeah, he can, because he can see in the dark. And you can see him. So give me a charisma save. Ivor. Oh, well, that's right. You are good at charisma.
Just about the only thing. I got one skill, and it's talking.
Hey, paid off.
No,
It tried to suck out your soul, and you were like,
That could've
"No,
been-
something else
that-
instead."
So
I don't
yeah,
think
it gazes at you, and luckily you are able to resist it thanks to your force of personality, keeping its attack at bay. It seems surprised and just gets ready to attack you again. Beldani.
I'm going to keep shooting with the crossbow at the one creature I can see that Donnie is next to.
Are you using another one of those special bolts?
Yes.
Walloping. All right. 15 would be enough as you shoot this guy. He's distracted, so yep.
For 42 damage.
All right. Oh, he looks very angry at you and yells something in Abyssal, but can't really do much about it. Anything else, Bill, Donnie?
Nope. That is my turn.
All right, Donnie.
I'm gonna stop attacking recklessly since I used my action surge,
Okay.
and then I'm going to hit the guy that Beldani hit.
All right. So you attack him. Yep, 15 would strike as you connect with your axe, doing 14 plus 6, 20. He stumbles back a bit, surprised by the ferocity of your blow, but he is still up.
I turn around and swing again at him, slashing for 11 more points of damage.
All right, and he is actually going to react with an attack using advantage as he swings at
Why
you.
does he get advantage?
Because of the Unbridled Fury. He can, if you hit him, he can make a reaction attack with advantage.
Fair enough. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure you weren't giving him because of reckless, but yeah.
No. But he rolls very poorly, actually, and would miss.
Sweet.
It's surprising.
Yeah, I don't really have any bonus actions that are all that valuable in this scenario because I can only action surge once. That fighting skill is not as valuable as you think. But yeah, that's it.
Alright, so the Tanaruk go. They're all going for Donnie because they don't actually know that Zalia is healed. They didn't notice. So the first one would strike with the Greatsword and bite, doing 5 and 4, so 9 damage.
Was that halved already?
Yeah, that was already halved. Second one would also strike because your AC is 14, right?
Correct.
Alright, so he would also strike with both, doing 4 and 6, so 10 points of damage.
Okay.
And the third one would strike with a bite, but luckily you dodged the Greatsword, and he does another 3 points of damage, as they are nickel and diming you. That's it for them. Zalia.
Remember, is a bonus action to take a potion?
As an action to use a potion.
It's different in all my games, so. Okay. I will. And when Beldani ported over here, he ported like pretty far into the hallway, right? He didn't port like right
Yeah,
inside the
he
gate.
ported 30 feet.
When I was examining this area, did I notice pressure plates on the other side?
You didn't notice them, no.
Alright. For my action, I'm going to consume a potion.
Okay, so you quickly drink a potion, and the creatures do notice you are awake now.
Okay. And then, hold on, let me just do that. Okay, 15. And then for my bonus action,
Yeah.
I am going to Misty Step to the other side of this gate.
All right. So you poof inside. At which point the floor gives way underneath you.
Wait, I examined this floor. I was.
I'm sorry. I feel a little
I
bit
told
bad.
you that I was specifically down there looking at everything.
Well, there was no pressure plates, but the floor was still not entirely stable. There was a pit there. So that would be a deck save.
Okay. I'm gonna use
Did
my.
did you stand up before you teleported?
Yeah.
Okay. Because it would be harder to dodge this if you were on the ground. Oh, sorry. All right, so you're using did you say inspiration?
Correct.
All right, so give me a. Oh yeah, so you're fine. So you keep out of the way of the pit as the floor caves in, and you're kind of standing on the edge there. Do you want to? Do you want to try to balance, or do you want to try to dodge into this space and hope it's safe? I didn't
Hold on a
really
second.
give Beldani that option, but I probably should have.
I'd like to. I'm sorry. You want me to either go here or balance where I am?
Yeah, to try to hold your balance at the edge of the pit or jump onto the square, not knowing what's
Yeah.
there.
I mean, with 23, I would prefer to stay there on the edge of the pit.
Alright, give me a acrobatics. Let's try to hold your balance.
All right, you son of a bitch. I'm also going to use my DM's inspiration for this.
Alright, like, oh no! Alright, so give me an athletics check.
Oh
See
yeah,
if
with
you
my
can-
-1 strength.
See if you can hold on. Oh, no, 11 is enough. So you would kind of slip a bit and luckily grab the side, holding on to the edge.
Okay, and then I misput my healing in wrong, so I just have to fix.
That's fine. So that is it for Zalia. Ivor, what are you going to do?
I think I am probably just gonna slash this guy in his face, because I don't think there's necessarily a better option.
Alright, so you slash at the...
Actually, yeah, nope, that's a little congested. I'm not trying to roast homies.
Donnie can take some toasting.
Yeah.
You're not.
Donnie
talking
hears
right now.
Theo shouting around the
Yeah,
corner.
you're not talking right now.
If
Oh,
they... did you shout that, Theo?
No.
No, I'm
Okay.
joking.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm just gonna slash at this guy here.
Alright, so forming acid claws, you slash... Oh no! No, he would dodge out of the way of your attack.
Okay. But well, now that I can move, should I? Yeah, I mean, why not? We'll just go here and that's it, probably. Yep.
Alright,
I like
see.
kind of having him up here. It seems wise.
Theo.
I'm gonna punch.
Alright, so you take a punch at this guy. 15 would be enough, and you strike with your sonic gauntlets, doing 5 points of thunder damage.
Punch again.
17 would connect for another 6, knocking him around. And he's looking pretty wounded.
That'll be it for me.
Alright, so the Vrock is going to fly this way, trying to get at Zalia, who he sees holding on in there. Sadly for him, he can't try to do another stunning screech. So he is going to, let's see, 15, 20, 25. He's going to continue. Sorry, what?
So to open the door, open the gate, the bars,
He
Rob.
can't.
Are
He's
you
gonna,
getting past me again?
He was flying over with his wings.
And he can get more than outside of my 8-foot height in axe range.
I guess I didn't specify how high the halls were. Sure, you can take an oppie on him.
Should have asked that earlier.
19 would strike. Cutting him as he flies over for another 18, and I think that wounds him.
A little bit
Can
divine
you do
fury
your?
as well.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep. So another additional 9 for 27 total.
So vulnerable to radiant?
No. Demons are not. So he continues flying this way because he can't get to Zalia, and he's going to go for Ivor.
Okay.
Though he cannot see you, luckily. Still,
He has been hearing explosions down the hall.
Yeah, he didn't have enough movement to get down there, though. So 25, I think, would strike you.
It would strike. Yep.
So he pecks you for 5 piercing, and 17, I think, would strike you again, and that is with disadvantage, both of those.
Okay. Yep.
For another 10 slashing.
As a reaction, I will curse loudly in Infernal, and I will cast a Hellish Rebuke on him.
Dex.
Yep.
Alright. He will attempt to dodge. With a 14, he would fail, so he takes 8 fire. And he's looking pretty beaten up. Then Nabasu goes. He is just going to slash at you, Ivor, with flank.
Give me 1 sec, I gotta slap. I didn't realize my sheet was missing something. I gotta put it on my sheet so that way I can then take it off. There we go.
So he makes... I didn't realize this, but he actually gets to do the gaze and his attack. Interesting. Give me another charisma save. Oh,
Isn't it in the dark?
Hold on. I have a thing. I am in the dark, but that wouldn't affect saves. This seems like a good time.
and he can see in the
Where I
dark.
can't help
Yep.
you.
That's okay. I'm gonna use a thing to attempt at. Wait, hold on. Does this require a reaction?
You doing a thing?
I'm doing a thing. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can. It might not matter anyway, but I don't. This seems like a bad time. Okay, that's significantly better.
So 17 would be enough, and you resist. What did you use for that?
I will copy pasta you.
Okay.
Secrets.
Secret. I've got a secret.
He's got some secrets.
That wasn't whispered.
Well,
Most of it-
part of it
most
was
of it
listed.
was.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll take it.
So
I forget that.
you know that
Yeah, I
he
forget.
can't use it again for a long or short rest.
Whatever it is.
All right. So the creature then angrily claws at you. 20, I believe, would strike you, right?
Oh yeah. Fuck.
So he does 16 slashing, and then he would bite you for another, 29 versus AC, I assume, would hit, so that would bite you for another 30 piercing.
30.
Yeah, that's what he hit you with before with that big hit.
Fuck
Yeah,
this
but-
guy.
The Nabasu is nasty.
Yeah. Beldani, what are you doing? You see Zalia hanging on to the side of the pit as you're just easily balancing there.
Here's
I'm
a
like,
quick question. At the end of my last turn, did Tinder suggest that he had the capacity to do anything?
All right, Tinder. Tinder is going to say, well, I guess I'm using my power. Let me check one of his things and see how this would work.
Okay.
Oh, here I go using my powers again.
Exactly. Here I go using my powers. Where is
That
it?
should definitely be Tinder's accent.
Right? Totally.
Fucking redneck devil.
Yeah.
I was
Oh.
thinking Southern lawyer, but yeah,
Anybody got a fiddle?
yes.
Alright, oh,
Trying
he's
to be
definitely
appropriate.
doing this then. He giggles maniacally as he points at the creature and says, "Feel my power, fiend." And I think he has to make a saving throw. Let me just make sure I'm getting this right. Yeah, dex save. Which actually he does have magic resistance, unfortunately. But we'll see how he does. Not the best dex save. Oh, he would fail it. That is not good for him. Alright.
Feel my power, demon.
What?
Jeez! That's
the
the
power.
power!
So
We need to
a
use some more crystals.
Yeah, no kidding.
white blast of energy comes from his finger and basically attempts to disintegrate this thing. Unfortunately, he can only do 77 points of damage.
Oh my.
Unfortunately,
Shall we?
Your imp disintegrates!
Apparently.
Yeah, let's make it more powerful. That seems like a good idea.
Yeah!
The creature looks wounded and very confused, and very angry at you now. Beldani, what are you going to do? Sorry.
I just shout to the professor, you can pull yourself up. Do I see a pressure plate in the square that she
I'm
is
not
adjacent
in
to?
there. I'm not in the pit. I'm on the edge of the pit.
Yeah, she's hanging on. I think he meant you could pull yourself up. So in the darkness...
Well,
she has a
the
light.
source.
Yeah, you do see pressure plates on that spot.
Just be careful of the pressure plate, and then I will take another radiant crossbow bolt and shoot at the Tanaruk that is hopefully going to be dead momentarily.
He is wounded. I forgot to mark him, but he is at pretty banged up.
So another 31 damage.
Yeah. So he takes another bolt as he's getting ready to attack your barbarian, and he goes down.
And I'm full up on soul trinkets, so just gonna let him die and not worry about his soul.
All right. Anything else?
Nope. That will do it.
All right, Donnie.
Seeing that Zalia has now kind of got to a safe location, these guys haven't shown any ability to do range attacks. As far
No,
as
they just have their greatsword and their bite.
Yeah, so given that, I will take the oppies, and I'm actually going to run towards the darkness. So that Zalia might be safe now.
All right, they will indeed oppie you using their reactions. They're going to use their great swords because those are better attacks. The first one would miss as you dodge out of the way, although the second one would get a 23, striking you for 6 or 5 slashing.
That's halved already?
Yes. 11 halves to 5.
Yep, that's fine. So I will keep running through the darkness, getting to this guy, and I will recklessly attack him at this point.
Okay.
Marking myself. Found it quickly the first time. Now I can't find it. There it is. Okay, so reckless attacks on that guy to try to get rid of this darkness.
Oh yeah, 20 would strike him as he turns around towards you for 20 points of damage, further wounding him.
Plus another 8 of Divine Fury.
Okay.
And then second attack.
Yes, 27 would strike.
For another 11 points of damage. And then I will bonus action second wind.
Alright, so you regain some health. The Tanaruk go. This one is gonna kind of rush past, see Zalia, but see no way of getting to her. So he's gonna aggressive just to move up to you. and attack with the flank, but at disadvantage.
He's blind. Well, it'd be straight because he had disadvantage. Would he have advantage because I was reckless?
Oh, because you reckless. Yeah, he would normal attack then.
But I got in the darkness, which is helpful to me.
So with normal attacks, he would strike with the greatsword.
Yep.
25 versus AC for 9, which halves to 4. Roaring as he bites at you. 15 versus AC, which does 10, which halves to 5.
Got him.
This guy also rushes in the darkness, attacking with a normal attack. 15 versus AC would strike with his greatsword, doing 13, which halves to 6.
Yep.
And crit on his bite,
Okay.
which does 9 plus 16, which halves to 8.
All right.
Zalia.
Donnie is finally looking wounded after 15 different attacks.
Okay, so what's my situation? I have to climb up.
So you're hanging on for dear life. You would have to climb out, or you could teleport out, I guess, if you wanted to. But yeah, you're holding on right now. So you would have to use a move to basically go up 5 feet and make an athletics check.
Oh, dear God. Okay.
How do I get myself into these situations? So
I
yeah,
have exactly one spell slot left. So wait, because I don't want to use my spell slot, and then you're all like, "Oh, well, you missed your step to the top, but you have to make an athletics check." If I'm where I am, can I misty step to a safe spot on this side of the?
So unfortunately, Beldani said there were pressure plates here. So.
But I mean, these edge places is enough to stand on.
You could Misty Step there, but you would have to do the balance check again, or the acrobatics, because it's not good footing. Or you could try to pull yourself out and do a balance check on them. Or you could teleport back out to the other side of the bar.
I got 8.
This is Beldani's world in here. This is not meant for normal people. It's just like balancing and dancing around.
Right. I will teleport out.
I've got these great visuals of the laser scene from Ocean's 12.
Yeah. It's like running around. Ah! What am I doing here? Alright, so you poof out back up here.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm actually gonna dimension door. So I'm gonna.
So you're going all the way down there. Alright.
I don't know where my light is, so hold on a minute.
I got it. There you go.
Okay.
Right.
And I can't see shit, so I guess for my action I will use use dodge.
Alright, so you take the dodge
So
action.
you know what? I take that back. I will hold my action. I will firebolt if I can see a bad guy come out of the dark.
You can hear them, so you could do an attack at disadvantage.
No, I don't want to hit one of my allies, so I'm gonna hold the action till I see a bad guy.
Alright, so you ready an attack. Ivor.
Wait,
Okay.
at this point, they couldn't see her either, right? Just
No.
Correct.
They could.
Except for
They can.
the
They
boss.
can. They can hear you, but yeah, only the Bossu could see her right now.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Okay. Man, I'm still within range. Yeah. Okay, so the Nabasu does look wounded. Well, I'm not smart enough to know how wounded. Okay, so I'm gonna. What the fuck just happened? I'm gonna move here and attempt to slash him with the flank.
All right. So you cut at him. Oh, crit.
Nice.
Come on! I wanna slash him to death so bad.
Very
So
nice.
Come on! Come on!
42. He is badly wounded, but he is still up.
That's the answer to everything.
Fuck! That would have been a really triumphant moment for me. Nevertheless, I'm immensely proud of whatever the fuck just happened.
As you should.
Yeah, I'm just gonna, grin devilishly at this shithead and end my turn.
Question: did you have flames coming off of you?
No. That
Okay.
only is triggered by specific things.
Okie dokie.
So Tinder says, I think we should leave. Do you agree?
Dander might be able to finish him off.
I'll respond and I'll say, I can't leave without my friends for sure, but I think that we actually have them on the disadvantage now. If we can eliminate this Nabasu, I think that the rest of them stand no chance.
Alright, he is gonna try to teleport you unless you're gonna resist.
This is such a... My curiosity is more piqued than my... Yeah, I will not resist.
You are suddenly down the hallway a bit.
That'll work.
Shit.
Donnie giving you the sass as you leave. Theo, what are
I'm
you
not
doing?
trying to get hit for 30 again.
Yeah.
Chicken shit.
Scare the crap out of Zelia.
What the? She almost firebolts you. Ah!
Right? Seriously.
I'm like, I've got a nosebleed, and I just smile. Oh, hello, Professor.
It's okay if you can't tell the difference between the imp and the Tanaruk. I understand.
Oh,
Like crap, and my robes are cut to ribbons from all the slicing that I've got.
big gash mark from being bit. Theo, what are you doing?
I'm going to send a lightning bolt going across the wall on this side, so that way it goes in between the three.
So you can hit the other guy as well.
Yes.
All right, so they get to make saves.
Good roll.
So dex save first one would make it thanks to his advantage. So he takes half and then half, which is 17. Would then have to 8. I can math. So he takes 8 lightning. Now the other one, the Nabasu, who actually is not very good at dex saves.
Hoping if it doesn't kill, it at least gets their attention. Donnie
He
can't
looked
be the
like
only
shit
one in the
anyway.
dog pile.
Yeah.
With advantage, you'd get a 27.
Damn it!
That's a crit. And he would take the same amount, I think, because he is resistant to lightning, which is another 7, which would actually finish him off.
God damn it.
Yes!
Fuck you. Just kidding.
Wow.
I didn't see y'all's fight happen at all. I just got desperate and went lightning bolts.
I know,
Lightning
that's
bolt.
fair. Everything's
Lightning
Now
fine.
bolt.
that everyone escaped down the hallway, and
Aisle.
nobody knew where they were. Darkness fades
aisle.
away, and we can be seen again.
Yeah, the darkness would be gone. And this guy would actually fail his save, so he would take 17, right? Yeah, 17. Zzz.
The darkness is gone?
Yeah, darkness is gone.
No one down there is carrying any light, though?
I don't think so.
He does not carry any
How
light.
far? 5, 10, 15, 20.
You probably just would have seen a lightning bolt going across a light come
Yeah.
back.
But you can barely not see anything.
So, Theo, that was it for you, right?
Let me double check. I think I'm out of Guardian. I am out of Guardian. That's it for me. I'm gonna just laugh at them.
Alright, so it screeches and pecks at you. Beak attack, 19, I believe, would hit.
Matches. Yep.
7 piercing, and he slashes with the talons. Ooh, 22.
Hits.
Alright, another 10 slashing. This one up here is going to fly over. Attacking you with the flank. 20 versus AC.
Hits.
Alright, so he would peck you as well for another 11. And Talons 19 versus AC, which I think hit again. For another 22.
Oh,
So 11 and
All
22,
right.
33.
And all that's slashing and bludgeoning, right?
Yes.
Damn.
That is it for the Vrox. Then the boss who's dead, so he is out of combat. Beldani. The professor left.
All right, I can't see anything at this point, so I'm going to use my bonus action and my movement to dance my way up to this grate.
So that would be acrobatics to avoid the pressure plates and half speed. Alright, so yeah, you are moving between all the dangerous traps and balancing on the edge of the platform there.
And
So that's 50
then-
feet of movement to get there.
yes, so that is my movement and my bonus action. And then for my action, I will shoot another radiant crossbow bolt at the one creature I can see.
As Beldani's world in there. Alright, so you take a shot at the Tanaruk. 24 would strike. Oh, 29. Ouch. Oh.
Wild.
Anything else?
That's all. That's my movement, action, and bonus action. So I'm done.
Alright, Donnie.
Donnie's gonna swing at him. He's gonna continue to be reckless.
Alright, you're not in darkness anymore, but go ahead.
Donnie wants
16 would cut him. That's which one you're attacking?
This one was the one that got hit earlier, right?
Yeah, he just took a crossbow bolt from someone.
So yeah, 16 damage plus some divine fury. Really want to crit.
Alright, so there's an explosion of energy, and he takes 21 total on the first attack. Looking
attack.
wounded from the assault.
A little bit more.
Oh, actually, he's going to reaction and attack you back.
Go for it.
Yeah. That shit's wild.
15 would strike you, dealing 12, which halves to 6.
That's fine. Again, Donnie just barely got under half. He still has a ton of hit points. Yeah. That's, if you got that extra 19 points of damage from the second attack, that's pretty much my turn.
Alright. So, another 19. Alright, he's looking beat up. Is there no round counter? That's weird. What are you doing, Combat Master? So Donnie's done. The Tanaruk go. This first one is going to attack, swinging wildly and biting. He does have advantage, so 24 and 19 would both strike.
Yep.
First one halves to 5, second one halves to 5, so you take 10
Total.
as he
Got it.
assaults you. This one steps here, gaining the flank and attempting to take you down. He yells in Orc, "Why won't you die?"
Because I don't die.
Bites you for 4 and slashes you for another 3 as he does a flurry of attacks. Zalia.
Look over at Ivor. Say, I really need rest, and I'm gonna move forward 2,
Yeah.
and I'm going to, I think I'll toll the dead on
This guy, the wounded one.
the one in front.
Alright, so you summon necrotic energies, which he will try
Actually,
to...
you know what? I take that back. Ignore that.
Okay.
I'm gonna firebolt. I'm worried about the sound attracting.
Good call.
Alright, so you firebolt.
Yeah, I know he's resistant, but
21 would strike, and you deal 10 points of fire damage to him. Oh! As he's getting closer to death.
And he yells at you, "These guys are mine."
Ivor.
I will respond aloud, and I'll say, "They're the only fucking guys left."
Exactly, they're mine.
How tall is the ceiling in here?
I'll say it's 15 feet.
Okay, and in order to hit the one on the west side of Donnie, he would have some cover from Donnie.
Yes. And his ally. He probably has light
Like
cover, which
three-quarters.
is like +2. No,
Okay.
because they're not like 5-foot wide blocks. They're just moving around a lot.
Okay. And I would assume that the targets for a scorching ray would have to be declared.
Yeah, they're all at
Yeah,
once, so you have to declare them as you cast it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Here's what I'll do then. I will just arise up 15 feet, and I will Eldritch Blast the western Tenaruk.
Alright, you send 2 bolts of Eldritch energy hurtling at him. Oh yeah, both would strike. Is there a third one?
There is. We're 11 now.
Alright. So 2 of them would hit, doing a total of 11 points of damage. And he goes down. Oh.
Dope.
Donnie
Okay,
gives you a angry look. I assume. Anything else?
that is it.
Alright, so Theo, you are caught between these 2 creatures, though they both look wounded.
I can let off Thunder Wave to hit both of these, correct? 15
Yeah, I
feet
believe so.
remaining For me.
So Thunder Wave is like directional off of one side of you. So I can't see down there.
He could put it forward, and I think 15, because it does a 15 by 15 foot wave, right?
Yeah, it's a 15-foot cube on one direction away from you.
Yeah, so if he aimed that west, that could hit both. That would make a bunch of noise, though.
Yeah, it's super loud.
Theo doesn't care.
Ew.
Theo doesn't
Every
give a
time I punch, it makes a thunder sound.
Yeah, he's been
He's not
crackling.
wrong. Yeah.
He's been crackling this whole time with thunder.
Like, it's every time I've punched something, you've heard the sound of thunder going off.
Although, doesn't Thunderwave say it's actually really loud in the description?
It
Yeah.
specifically says you can hear it from like 300 feet away, so it might be
So
way louder.
it's a little
than
bit, yeah, it's
outlet.
louder than normal thunder, I think.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I have no spell slots left except for.
Theo doesn't know that.
He does
Alright,
know.
so are you thunder waving, Theo?
It was.
Eh.
It takes an action to check how hurt these are, correct?
Do you have
Well, that
medicine?
also requires medicine.
Yeah,
Never
you got-
mind.
It would be an action now. If you have medicine, you just get to know 1 creature per turn.
I'll spend an action on that. Blur.
Yeah.
Alright, so you get all blurry as you begin to concentrate, giving creatures disadvantage to attacking you. The Vroks go, and they will indeed try to attack you, though you are now much harder to hit. Beak attack 16 versus AC.
No.
Alright, so you dodge the first. Talon 25 becomes a 12, so you would dodge that one.
Nice.
The guy from behind you, 20 becomes a 12, so you dodge that, and 12 he would miss. So they swing,
flurry.
they flurry, I don't know if that's a word. They flurrily swing their claws and beaks, but you dodge back and forth, avoiding them all. Beldani.
All right. Is it possible for me to fit my head between these bars?
You can shoot at this guy, he just have cover.
Okay. So that is, in fact, what I am going to do.
Alright. So you aim at the edge of the square when you see him, but unfortunately, 14 with cover would miss him.
That, and unfortunately, is all I can do. So,
Alright. Donnie. have a fresh
Yeah,
Tanaruk, and you hear a bunch of fighting down the hallway.
I'm not happy that I've only actually killed one of them directly myself, so I'm going to continuously recklessly hit at this guy next to me.
Oh, alright. Oh, well, 12 becomes a 30, and you would definitely hit with that.
Yeah.
The exact opposite of what was going on with these guys.
Ooh, that's some good divine fury.
28 damage. Alright, so he stumbles back as you land the first hit. Oh. He's gonna reaction attack you on that one, though.
Go ahead and do that.
12 becomes a 21 with advantage, and he strikes you for 6 slashing, which halves to 3. I feel like I'm a video game engine.
Oh no, yeah, you are.
Calculating all these numbers.
I'd really love to know how many times Donnie would be hit. I'm kind of actually pissed that I haven't been counting the number of times you've hit him. Because he's got to have been hit close to 20 times in this battle.
Alright, so you slice or slash with the second attack. Wait. Hang on, let me check those numbers. Yeah, 28 would hit, so 20 points. Got it. Alright. He is looking beaten up, but he's still above half.
That's fair enough. Yeah, I'm kind of next to him. No real bonus actions. I've used all my things, so yeah, that's kind of it.
Alright, the Tanaruk roars with anger and slices at you.
Yep.
11 becomes 11 and he would miss, and he bites at you. 13 would miss as you dodge both of them. Zalia.
Guess I'll do just what I did. Well, actually, I will step forward again, and I will use the Staff of Power to cast Magic Missile.
Alright, so you pull the staff, or put the staff forward, and let loose how many magic missiles?
It's just 3.
Alright.
Jeez.
That's plus 5 each, so...
Wild.
So 30.
Alien's totally tapped.
So you blast him for 30, and he looks badly wounded, but he's still up. Anything else?
Yeah, back up here next to...
Ivor.
I will outstretch my hand, just like big wide open palm, and Eldritch Blast 3 times to Donnie's eastward Tanaruk.
Alright, you let loose several blasts, only one of which hit, unfortunately.
Jesus. Wild. Oh, fuck
For
me.
3 points of damage. Alright. Ow. Right in
I'm
the
a
shoulder.
bit distracted. I'm wincing in pain.
Yep.
It's hard to aim.
Alright.
And that's it.
Sorry, what?
What's that little imp doing?
The imp he's been chilling for now because he doesn't want to use any more power unless he has to. He feels like he swung the battle well with that disintegrate. And the teleport.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, is it would I recognize that is what he has done? I don't know if I've seen that before.
Do you have Arcana?
I do.
You can make an Arcana check. He might. No, you have no idea.
Okay, yep.
What was that? Theo, what are you doing?
I'm gonna punch the one in front of me.
Alright, so you let loose with your Thunder Gauntlets.
My slightly quieter boom.
The smaller boom. 14 would just miss with the first attack.
Alright, try again.
17 lands a solid hit, doing 10 points of damage. Alright,
Rocket's jaw.
and that's it for you.
Bonus action taunt him by saying ha.
I don't know if that's actually a bonus action, but fair enough. So they're going to unleash on you with disadvantage. 18 misses you, right?
Correct.
Alright, so you luckily have your blur, which prevents all their attacks from hitting.
Fucking A.
I thought y'all were trying to hit me.
Beldani.
It's like the Matrix in here. Stop trying to hit me and hit me.
He's too blurry, it's too hard to see him.
Alright.
Doom shield. Make it work.
One that's again crossbow bolt, hoping to hit this time. And that's a no.
Oh,
Oof.
Beldani's like, these trick shots are really hard. Donnie.
That is my turn.
Whoever told me I could
Well-
bounce it off the walls was a liar.
Beldani, he's doing it for Donnie to give him the kill.
Donnie, hearing some of Theo's battles from down the hallway, he's like, I love that we can be out loud. I will decapitate you. Screaming. Yeah! Probably much to the frustration of Zalia.
Zalia looks very tired. 17 would strike and finish this one off. Oh.
That's that. Donnie's gonna go 5, 10, 15. Ah, you clearly need help.
Mine! Mine!
Nope.
Mine! If you kill it, know it's solely because of me and you had to rely on me.
20 would strike as you come rushing up, much to Theo's chagrin, slashing him for 12.
Yep.
And that's it for you?
Yeah, I should have used the Horn of Blasting, but yeah, that's it.
No.
I can take it.
The Tanaruk are all dead. Zalia.
I heard Donnie yell something.
Yeah, that singing was Donnie yelling.
Can't see anything. Gonna stay where I am. Look over at Donnie and say, maybe you should get to work on trying to open this gate.
I'll see what I can find.
Alright, Ivor.
The professor looks injured, correct?
Like shit.
Yes. I think everyone in the group except Beldani is injured now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Donnie's fine.
Her torch is wounded.
Oh,
Yeah. Sorry, here you go.
Ah, that's fine. What are you doing, Ivor?
I will just... So I'm gonna move... So I'm still... Yeah, I will say I'm still flying. So I'm gonna move 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30... I will dash 5, 10, 15, 20, 25... Ooh,
Mine!
30.
You guys are ridiculous.
And I will just communicate, of course, mentally to Tinder, and I'll say, if you're not already spent, it would mean a great deal to me if you could assist Professor, and I will end my turn.
Alright, so Theo, he'll say to you, I would need to rest a bit as my power spell-wise has been used.
Very well, I understand.
So Theo, what are you going to do?
Punch the one in between me and Donnie.
Alright, you have flank, so 19 would strike, and it takes 9 damage. Looking very wounded. That punch would finish it off.
Go to sleep, no more tears, only dreams!
Anything else?
Turn around to face this one.
That one will fly over you and attack Donnie, because you're too blinky. You're giving him a headache with all your blurriness. Donnie, he is going to peck at you. And slash at you. Striking with both, as you are offering advantage, I assume.
Yep.
So he pecks you for 10, which halves to 5 piercing, and slashes you for 20, which halves to 10 piercing.
Got it.
Ending his turn, Beldani.
all right. Maybe I can hit this time. We'll see.
Well, there's nothing you can shoot at right now.
I can't shoot at this one.
He's dead.
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 Oh,
It's hard to see, but yeah. You've been waiting for a shot, but this one's actually been lying on the floor against the wall. Like, it's not moving
Well,
anymore. Is it still there?
I
You
would
can
have
still
missed
shoot it
anyway.
if you really want to.
So then I am going to look on this side to see if there's any mechanism to try and open this grate.
I mean, you've been looking over here. You haven't seen anything so far. The mechanism might be elsewhere in the dungeon.
That's the first time he's been in that spot.
Yeah, I guess you've been. I would
Dex check.
assume you were using the perception passive, but go ahead, make an active perception check.
Sort of.
Hey.
So yeah, you'd see similar things as when you were over here. There's a bunch of pressure plates, and yeah, that's about it. You wouldn't see anything else hidden in this area.
All right, then I will use my bonus action and my movement to head 30 feet back down this way to see what I can see.
Give me another acrobatics check as you dance your way down the hall. Yeah, you're fine. Can you even roll under a 19? I feel like I've never seen you. Yeah, all right. I don't even know why I'm asking you to roll. You're just dancing all the way, all down the hall. Donnie, what are you doing?
What do you think I'm doing?
You're
Smash.
attacking.
This one came from your direction originally, so I just figured didn't finish it off.
That would be enough as you cut into it and it goes down.
It
And-
explodes as it goes down in a burst of
Radiant fire.
Right. Yep. I took it down. Ha 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 ha.
Alright, the group is safe for the time being.
You all look pretty hurt. That's kind of weak.
So do you.
Donnie, get back over here. And keep your voice down.
I was the one making noise. It was Hat over here making
You
all
were
the
just
noise.
yelling ha 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 really loudly. Just come over here, please.
He makes bang bang every time he hits something.
He does, but
Punch the wall.
look,
Tintin.
I'm
Why
feeling
do you keep getting mad
very
at him? He's making more noise.
lightheaded right now, and we either need to get out of here or make the dome or get
you
to the
wanna
other
drink
side of
this?
the gate.
He hands you a healing potion if you want it.
She looks at him and says, "You take that one. I've got some more, but I'm completely, almost completely out of magic.
I
We'd
could
be in
still
very
fight. I'll
dire
protect
straits
you.
if we run into more of those."
I can
So-
protect you.
I can't give us shelter for 8 hours, but if we're okay with an hour rest, I can hide us away.
The rope
I could
trick.
always use a siesta.
Yeah, that's probably a pretty good idea, just so that we can. But Beldani's down the hall, so let's just wait till we get back.
Well, I'm afraid I won't be able to join you for the rope trick as I have no way of getting back through the bars.
I press a button on my armor and teleport him beside me.
Well,
Are you
I
sure
haven't.
you want to do that?
Or
I was gonna say I am.
wait, no,
wanting
you're
to
out of my
say-
vision right now. I can't.
Yeah.
Sorry, I needed to zoom out more.
Yeah, he's all the way down.
I can
I-
help you once you get back.
I
You
don't
might
think
have
I
a way.
want to teleport to the other side just yet, as I think whatever I need to do to disarm these traps is probably on the other side of this pit.
This is Beldani's world in here. He just dances everywhere.
If we take an hour rest, I can call on the spirits around me to gain some arcane knowledge, and perhaps with that I can disarm this anti-magic glyph.
Theo
Alright.
looks at his charges. I have 6 more. I can bring you to us and then put you back in there.
Well, let's do that if we. Well, I think Beldani will be safe enough. He's pretty good at hiding, and he could probably hide himself and rest.
So
That's true.
the anti-magic glyph doesn't strike you as a trap, though you could just easily walk around it. It's not actually stopping you, as far as you know.
Right, but I was trying to think if there was some way to Oh, I probably can't dispel it if it's not a trap.
No, it's more just
I wouldn't-
keeping like anyone from teleporting in this area or using magic to move past.
Does it look like I could use acrobatics to make my way along the side of this pit?
Yes.
All right, then I'm going to do that.
You know, if you give us enough time, I'm sure Mia and Hat over here could bust down these bars.
Give me just a minute, and I'll see if I can find a way to disarm these traps. I'll be right back. And you see me disappear around the corner.
Okay.
Technically, Donnie, I have a window in my pocket I can put on these.
So, yeah, you get to the other side of the pit here, and it looks like there's a small hallway at the end of which there is some sort of a. It looks like runes scribbled on the floor in front of the door.
All right. Does it appear to be some sort of magical trap?
You would hear as you approach something moving around in the room here.
Hmm. And I am skeptical. I will dance my way back.
And yes, this does appear like it could be a magic trap.
Does it look like there are any pressure plates in the area in front of that door?
No, that area looks clear other than the runes.
So, I would be able then to describe, as I make my way back up to join the rest of the group, I describe to the professor exactly the position of that space so that she should be able to dimension door there.
In 8 hours.
Well, yes, but
Yes. All right. I'll listen intently and even draw it in my book.
All right, so you want to try to set up a dome out here? You said you were going to rope trick?
I think we're
Rope
gonna
trick.
rope trick. Yeah, a dome would attract too much attention. We'd end up with everybody waiting for.
Toss my rope up, catch in
well,
the air.
first, Theo, you'll need to
Yeah, pull him
warp
out.
me out to your side.
Yep. Press the button on my armor, make it pop up out on this side.
So this uses the, you're using a spell slot to do this?
Spell storing item.
Alright, because this only lasts an hour, according to this.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm using a spell for the rope trick. I'm using spell storing item to get Bell on this side.
Yeah, I just mean because you mentioned a long rest, or are you just
No,
using the rope trick?
No,
for-
I said
Oh,
I
okay.
can't do this for a long rest, but we can
Gotcha.
get a short rest in.
Alright, so you're gonna use rope trick as you make the little pocket dimension up there. Let me just reread the spell really quick. Okay, so you guys basically disappear up there for an hour. So nothing can really... And you're pulling the rope up, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, nothing can really get to you unless it senses the magic, which is only like a couple of things in this dungeon can. So give me a D20 for complications over this time period. Alright, no complications. An hour would pass, so go ahead and do a short rest.
It's like Zelia vomiting from blood loss.
And we can see through the bottom in case anything passes by to keep track of.
Strangely enough, nothing passes by. It seems you are left alone for this hour.
So we need to talk about what's. We need to talk. I don't think we can go much farther without some sort of long rest to restore our capabilities.
I'm fine.
Of course you're fine, Donnie. And I don't mean to insult you in the least bit, but I think I came very close to expiring just now.
Maybe if you saved your stuff a bit more. You use it a lot.
Frankly, that had very little to do with her saving her resources. That was a matter of getting hit like a fucking truck. Doesn't matter how much you conserve your resources, you can't prevent that from happening.
Yeah, sorry about that, Zelia. I do feel bad. Sorry.
That's all right, Donnie, but I think until you have a master's or PhD in magic, you should probably not comment on people's resources.
Wrecked.
In any case, I agree that perhaps we are overspent, but I do not believe that we are in a position to stop. I think we need to find somewhere that we can stop before we do.
I agree.
I do know I'm not going anywhere near that anti-magic field.
I feel as if we're banging our heads against the wall here, and
There is-
perhaps we should go back to the
Is-
room with the forge.
There is
Is-
another passage that we've not yet explored.
Is there any way that, Master Starling, you have the ability to store spells in objects? Is there a way you could store dispel magics so that I could use it and I could take it down to that glyph, dispel the glyph, and allow the rest of you to teleport to the safety of the end of the hallway?
I don't know if I have Dispel prepared right now, but it's something I could do once we get a proper rest in.
Give me an Arcana check, Zalia, because you might know something. Although you do have a level of exhaustion, I think, because you were knocked out. But you rolled 28.
Nice.
So you don't think that you can target anti-magic with Dispel? Because you don't think you can do targeted spells into an anti-magic field.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll explain that.
Would this react like the demon stuff to where if we tried to break the sigil, would it explode?
So there is still magic powering an anti-magic field, technically, so yes.
How deep was the pit that I almost fell in?
How far can you see in the dark?
I had my light on me, so I could see as long as...
It wasn't actually that deep. It was only a 30-foot fall, but there were spikes at the bottom.
I'm assuming that's true of the other pits in the hallway as well.
Yeah, the ones you saw.
All we need is a safe place to teleport to, perhaps closer to the door. If we could erect some sort of plank or, I don't know, something over the pit that we could then land safely on, maybe perhaps some rope.
Well, the problem is that there's... Wherever there isn't a pit, there are explosions and blades. So...
Was there a pit down at the far end, but not where the anti-magic could see you?
So, I'm going to step back here. And I'll be like, you can see the two pits. There's a explosion and blade here, explosion and blade here, here, and here. The anti-magic glyph was here. There's a long 10 by 30 foot pit filling this entire corner. The only safe place to land is either next to the glyph, which obviously we can't teleport to, or in this space. And I'm not sure if that's within the range of the glyph either. It probably is.
Question.
Most of our teleportation devices would require sight.
Did the explosions look magic based?
You think they just went off. You don't think they were magic based, because one of them did go off in the area of the anti-magic.
I am very interested in reverse engineering these traps. I do know that we can pry up pressure plates with some care and disarm some that way. If we can find the triggers for the explosions and blades we can bell between you and I, we should be able to disarm them. It's just going to take some time. And once we're on the other side, I have a 24-foot long ladder and a whole bunch of rope, so I can cover the pit.
Could you put the ladder across the pit, and then we could teleport onto the ladder?
That seems quite smart. I'm on board
Sure.
with this.
I'm leaving it up to Bell though, because I saw how many things went off in there. That's his territory.
Well, I'm happy to head in and try and disarm the pressure plates that I'm able to. But it sounds like before we can do any teleporting, we need to find a place to take a longer rest than just this brief respite.
I agree.
Agreed.
Perhaps we should see what awaits us at the north end of the eastern passage.
Do you think your imp could go and look?
I would be delighted to ask. And then I'll say to Tinder in my head, would you mind taking a peek around the corner and telling us if there is anything dangerous in the northern hallway here?
Oh shit! I could summon Nettle.
Save the incense.
The imp says, or Tinder says, yes, I can go and see. And you would feel him leap off your shoulders and fly around. He
I
is.
actually think I just dismissed Nettle. I didn't. He didn't die the last time.
I don't remember, it's been such a long time.
Oh yeah.
You would hear in your head that there's a hallway up here, and it looks like some cave-ins.
I'll say to the group, it seems that there is a hallway with some cave-ins, but Tinder has not reported any hostile entities.
Do you think it's safe, though? If we were to set up the dome and one of the demons were to stumble upon it, they are looking for us. They're going to look for us even more once they find all the bodies out in the hallway.
We can't add texture to the dome, can we?
No.
I can add some camouflage, but it's not going to hide the dome.
Well, at this moment, I think it is our best chance.
Well, we could backtrack to the room with the forge that's being protected by what's-his-face.
Hollow
Oh.
hand.
He is no longer in there. Who knows if that forge is even protected?
I think it is. He had set up wards, so I don't think they were dependent upon his presence. He was
Perhaps.
popping all around.
It seems to
betrayed
me...
us.
This is true.
There's
It
also.
seems... Go ahead.
Go ahead, Upper.
I'll say, it seems to me a shame just to spend so much time going so far backwards when perhaps the answers we seek are so very nearby.
I do
I
agree
like
with
what he's
you,
saying.
Master Shannon, but the problem is, if we create the dome and they spot it while we're in there, we're going to come out with the whole force of this place descending down upon our ears.
Perhaps we should take a look and see if there is a place that we could reasonably assemble this dome without drawing attention to ourselves. Perhaps the room itself makes sense for just such a purpose. Perhaps it does not, but there's no harm in looking.
Oh, do we think there might be a room on the other side of this wall? And Bill, did you see any empty space on the other side of this wall?
No,
think
there's
he did.
no. There is a room somewhere in here, but that's behind the door that's warded with the magic runes, and obviously behind all of the traps, etc.
We're
I'm
looking
gonna-
on the
I
map
do-
that I created, and I'm updating that map with this information.
I do have a way to make a one-time use hole that we could climb through.
Good golly.
So Beldani, when you get
What,
over
does it-
here, do you have a light source?
I do not.
All right. So yeah, you see it goes down. There's a hallway here that goes to the west, and yeah, you can continue north where you see a cave-in up here.
Bildani, it looks like that passage to the north may continue westward again. Perhaps it is blocked off, but there is one.
I think that would probably just continue back to the cave-in. This passage directly in front of me might go to some sort of room, but I'm not sure what might be at the end of it. I would say everyone stay back for a moment. I will sneak ahead and stay to the shadows, see what I can see.
Aren't
It
we still
seems-
in the rope trick?
Hang on,
I think we had
Beldani.
ended that.
Yeah, we finished at the.
We finished the short rest, yeah.
No, I thought we were having this discussion while we were up in the rope trick.
Oh, we ended it there. That's whenever the short rest finished.
So as you step there,
So we didn't talk at all while we were sitting up there.
That was us talking.
a bunch of A bunch of crushing ceilings come down, and I need a dex save from Veldani,
Unfortunate.
which you easily make, jumping back. Huh.
I could have done that too.
The
Wicked
trap
Beltani did, though.
begins to slowly go back up.
Slowly. Go to the other side, Baldani.
Hey, Z, come up to
And
where
then
we are.
resets.
Oh, hold on, sorry.
I will look for the pressure plates to see if there is a way for me to disarm them.
Alright, so with your passive here without the light, or wait, is Azalea coming up?
I am, but
Her torches.
Or
Light is.
I can't select myself. Hold on. Sometimes this happens, and my icon just
how
appears,
about
so
now?
presume I'm there, but I need to reload.
Alright, so with Zalia's torch, with your passive of 20, you can see the pressure plates. But
Do I see
you might
any way
have
of dis-
to. No, you don't see anything like a box like with the other one. You might have to take your torch with you if you want to try to balance across, because you can only see 20 feet with it.
Oh, wait. I will then pull
I'll
out.
lend you my ring, Baldani, if you
Or
like.
sorry.
I can relight my. I still have like 5.5 hours worth of oil in my lantern, so I'll pull my lantern back out
Okay.
and make my way across.
Yep. 19, you would make it. So you gracefully dance your way across the hallway.
I'm assuming the pressure plates go for the
Yeah, so they
it's
end over
30
here.
feet, but end here.
Yeah. So you
Alright.
believe you are safe here, at least for the time being.
And I will come to this. Say there's a U-turn in the hall. I'm going to peek around the corner. I'll head up.
So you see more pressure plates for another 30 feet, and at the end of the hall there is a lever on the wall.
All right, I will make my way down, dancing past these pressure plates.
Alright, so you quickly make your way past the pressure plates. Are you pulling the lever?
And I will pull the lever.
Alright, so you hear grinding of metal against stone somewhere to the south.
I'm gonna zip back around the corner and see if it's the...
Yes, you see the gate going down.
That's it. I'll come back. It's the gate. It's the gate. So if we all go through, and then you can come and meet us on the other side.
Okay.
I mean, and pull the lever again, so that they can't
yes.
get... Oh, okay, all right. I'll be... And she's
I
gonna
would-
run back up.
As the professor is super excited to share this revelation, I'd like to send. Well, I'll ask Tinder, if you wouldn't mind. Can you fly down the hallway and touch base with Baldani and see if you have the strength to move that lever? It seems perhaps a smarter way to guarantee that we can close it behind us, because I
Is the
believe that
lever
you can
enough
probably
to
fit through the
apart?
bars.
He says, I suppose, yes, and he would go and fly over to where Beldani is.
Okay.
Now I'm assuming I can't see Tinder.
He would appear as he starts coming down the hallway. He reveals
Okay.
himself.
All right, so Theo, do you want to put the ladder down?
Well, with the gate gone and stuff, I can just do rope instead. The ladders, once I pull it out, it's out, kind of thing.
All right, okay, yeah, rope will back. I'll hand you my rope too.
I have well over 200 feet on me.
Then I'll put it sheepishly back into...
Oh, I will take any rope somebody hands me. You just won't get it back.
She's useless with the knot.
So yeah, I'm gonna use some pittons and rope to make a little walking path for everybody to get across.
Alright, so you
I can use my
spend
boot.
2 pitons and 10 feet worth of rope to hammer in a little. You will have to make an initial balance check to get across the pit.
Boots of flying.
Or okay, I guess you just fly then. So you use 10 feet of rope and hammer 2 pitons into the wall, and you now have a little rope handhold.
And does it seem that Tinder does have the strength to manipulate the lever, given his size?
So Tinder would fly over and pull the lever, and the gate starts going back up, and then he pulls it back down. He says, "Yes, I can pull this."
Pretty sure imps have a better strength score than I do.
I'll just nod to Tinder and then tiny dance my way back out of the hallway.
You pirouette down the hall. Tinder will turn invisible again and just wait for a bit, giving you all time to do whatever you're doing.
So we're going into where the rope is.
Z, I would wait until we're able to disarm traps before running across.
No, it's just over the first gap, and then we can close the door, and then if something comes along, it can't get to us.
Belle, is that area safe for us all to stand in?
There is no area safe to stand in, so
It's all bad.
your best bet is to hold onto the rope and stand along the edges of the pit.
I can secure a rope on the other side too, just to make it where
Okay.
everybody's able to stand. I'm gonna float up and stay behind Belle to give him guidance.
All right, what is Belle trying to do here?
I was going to say, if you hand me another rope, or more of the rope and another python or piton, or however it's pronounced, I'll go to the other side of this pit and nail another one in so that we have rope the whole way across.
All right.
All right, so you're going to expend 35 feet of rope to another piton to nail this in?
Yes.
Now, how does that rope help you avoid the pressure plates?
That's a good question. It
We
helps
were
across the
going
pit.
Yeah, we were gonna
Um,
try and
Doesn't it
get
cap
underneath
you?
the pressure plates and disable them.
So how are you going to do that?
But wouldn't we just trigger the trap, but we wouldn't fall because we'd have the rope to hang on to?
No, 'cause
there's explosions and blades and
The
stuff. too.
pressure plates here will trigger the
Well,
explosions
let's
and
just get
blades.
inside the gate and worry about the rest of it once we're inside the gate, in case
There's no
something comes
space.
along.
Yeah, there's
Other than dangling above a
so
hole.
yeah, there's pressure plates here. That's the only problem. So that might
but-
set off a trap if you step there.
All right.
They're
So
floating. So just Donnie and Ivor need to just come into this first set of this area here, right, and hang on to the rope,
Mm-hmm.
and we can shut the gate, and then we can figure out the rest of it.
I guess Ivor can fly, right?
Yeah, he can.
I can fly.
So that's true. You
for
could just fly
some
over
amount
it.
of time. Yep.
Just me and
Yeah,
Donnie.
it seems like as long as because it seems like we're gonna try to address the traps fairly quickly. So I'll go ahead and just shoop.
Alright, so you fly in. Donnie's holding the rope on the side of the pit. And I guess you tell Tinder to close it.
Indeed.
Alright, so Donnie, you're stepping in, right?
I mean, I guess I'm not a big fan of this idea of like, well, just stand on a rope, be fine.
Well,
We're
you're
hanging from-
standing on the side of the pit holding a rope.
Yeah.
Alright, so you're over here then. Tinder would pull the lever.
Where are you standing, Zalia?
I'm on the other side holding the rope.
So the rope goes like along the wall.
Yes.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
so that way you're able to put your feet along the edge and hold on to the rope as a.
Yeah, the rope is just helping anchor you onto the edge of the pit there, because there's a little ledge, but if you didn't have the rope, you would have to balance. But the rope lets you kind of lean.
So
Once
actually,
everybody
I'm
gets
probably
past, I'm
ahead of
definitely
you.
recollecting the rope.
Switch places with me, Donnie, because I probably came in before.
Alright, so Tinder would return to you.
Okay, now that you've trapped us in here, what's your plan?
Well, not
Don't
trap.
be
Tinder
grumpy,
can get us
Donnie.
out.
And this actually might be a good place to stop, because we are at 8:30. Then Betha could come in next week and just fall down the pit.
Yeah,
He just poofs in. Ah!
She'll just be
She's gonna
sitting on
proof it on
Donnie's
Donnie.
shoulder.
She'll be on Donnie. There we go. She's on Donnie's shoulders. Yeah, why don't we do MVP votes and wrap for the evening, and we'll figure out the pressure plates next time.
Okay.
I think I know who the MVP is. So, with 3 votes, Beldani, you are MVP. Congrats.
Woot.
Thanks, everybody.
You are very welcome.
Woo.
Good job, everybody.
I thought we were goner. Well,
It's actually a little bit of tension without Betha just healing everyone to full every battle.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's not usually that simple.
Uh-huh. Alright.
It's never that simple.
It's never that simple. So yeah, we will pick it up next time and try to figure out the traps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hope everyone had fun, and yeah, we'll see you next time.
I just
See you
have
next week.
a quick question about the schedule for March. I know it was previously on the table since there was a session missed.
Yeah.
That we could either play another game or basically compensate for that session.
Yeah.
I think that the professor at least had mentioned playing another game, and I would also be in favor of that. What is everybody else's opinion?
It all depends on timing for me. My schedule is insane right now.
All right.
Okay.
Well, we can we can take a look, but I have to. Yeah, we see what the last Tuesday of the month is. I can just pull up my calendar right now. That would be the 29th of March, according to what I'm seeing here. So does that work for everyone as a 5th game? Anyone?
That might-
Maybe?
I have to get back to
All right. Yeah, well, we'll figure it out. That's fine.
Alright.
All right, cool. I'm going to take some notes, but otherwise, good game, everyone. Good job.
You have a good one.
it. Everyone.
All right,
See everyone next week.
Yeah, see you next
Later,
week.
folks.
Ah, that's just us.
So, yeah, you could have talked to him more. He wouldn't have much knowledge on Zation or what it meant, but he would say that it would probably take some research to find out more about your bloodline or what exactly that essence meant and what type of powers you could unlock with it.
Okay. Does he have any sort of insight into like the nature of that research, like whether it would require like a specific libraries or like specific genres of books or anything like that, or is it just something that, or is it
So
something that he thinks that he could look into?
he would know places within the hells where information can be found, but he wouldn't know much about places on the prime material plane. So it would require a trip to the hells.
Okay.
The 9 hells, I believe.
Is that a trip that he would be able to make himself once he is restored?
For sure, but he doesn't know if he could get fully restored in this place. He could probably just unlock some of the power that was taken from him.
Okay. So he seems to, he feels that the power that was taken from him goes beyond the scope of what he thinks we might find down here.
Yeah, he's pretty sure it does.
Wild. We have only found like That's crazy. I wonder what all. Okay, anyway. Okay, perfect. Then perhaps I'll just say. What would I say? I'll say, once you've come to a place where you feel like you've been restored sufficiently to make that journey, it certainly would benefit me a great deal to have access to the the true powers of my heritage.
Sorry, what'd you say?
I said once he comes to a point where he feels like he has recovered sufficient strength to make that journey, it certainly would benefit me a great deal to have access to the true powers of my heritage.
I would say yes, and I look forward to be able to to be able to make that trip with you. Do you think you would like to return to Hell, the place of your ancestry?
I think that I would someday, yes. It was not something that I ever really considered before I became aware of the fact that I was no mere tiefling, but now that I know I am not, I think that I owe it to myself to see this chapter to its conclusion.
Well, devils revel in the powers of hell, but mortals often find it very discomforting. So it will be interesting to see what you think of it if we ever travel there.
Yeah, I agree. It is something that I look forward to.
All right. So
All right, cool.
yeah, we'll pick it up next time. I'm probably gonna go detox a little. My brain is shot.
Yep, I feel that. I'll see you next week, and I'm probably gonna up. Last week on Thursday, I watched the stream, and I probably will do so again this Thursday, just so I have a little bit of an idea of what I'm sort of walking into, and I'm excited for that game as well.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out how to get you into all that because with the current story, you'd be kind of jumping into a quagmire with what's going on right now, and I'm not sure how you'd safely even get into the keep with that huge creature wandering around.
The Nightwalker.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure how the timing would work out, but what Darcy and I had talked about is more or less what we had. I think I might have sent you a message about it, but I basically came to Char after the resolution of Malik's situation and became aware of a commotion at a house, which was turns out it was their house. And then I went inside to check it out, and I think Darcy said there was some injured guy in there who could have told me who all got sucked through, and then I followed in before it closed. So I'm not sure how much time has transpired since they went in, but that is sort of what we had in mind.
All right. Sounds good. I'll take a look and see.
Okay,
All right. See you next time.
see you next time.